Welcome to the play-ins, folks. This is where legacies become legends. We're going to get to dive in with 6 out of the 12 teams competing for a spot in the playoffs. I'm your host, Seymour. Alongside me, the trusty duo Cruz here to bring you through this action for the day. Cruz, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I think we're in for a very good night of matches. Only 3 matches, unfortunately, on the card for us tonight. But, I mean, every single match, it has some huge implications. We're going to get to see, finally, which teams are going to make the playoffs. And, I mean, we've been hyping it up all season long. We've been waiting to get to this point of the play-ins. And, I mean, we're finally here. I couldn't be more excited.
We got some updated news as well, Cruz, to talk about, because over the break and moving into the plans, we had a little bit of an update for the format. So why don't you talk to me a little bit about this update for the format, because it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, the original format that we were hyping up and kind of going over all season long was that we were going to have 6 conferences, 1 team from each conference was going to make the final playoff bracket, and then 2 teams were going to be then invited in. Well, now we get even more Call of Duty action, so I mean, can't really complain. More teams are now making it in towards the playoffs. So the matches that are happening today will then decide who makes it into play in our conference championships. But our conference championships now, instead of being a knockout match, will just be a match for seeding in towards our final 12-man team playoff bracket. So, I mean, it's going to be a fantastic playoffs.
And you might be wondering, what's that mean in layman's terms? Instead of 1 team moving into the playoffs, you get 2 out of each division. So that's going to be a fun time. Like Cruz said, just more Call of Duty for us to enjoy. And who doesn't like Call of Duty here? I know I do. I know Cruz does. So why don't we check out the teams we have tonight for our schedule, because we have a banger 3 matches to go through, starting off with the University of Tennessee Knoxville up against the University of North Carolina Wilmington. That's going to be coming out for our game number 1. We're looking at our game number 2. Northwood Wolves looking to hunt down the Minnesota State University, as they are going to be playing out for that chance now. You look at Northwood being that number 2 seed. Will they be able to take down Minnesota? And coming in our game number 3, the St. Mary's Rattlers go up against Independence Community College once again. That's going to be a big one. Can they get that revenge cruise? It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big day. And only one of these teams from each game gets to move on into the playoffs.
The thing I love about our schedule today, too, is that so many of these teams we've had on stream all year long, like we've seen UNCW so many times this year. So it's kind of like those big stories and everything that's been kind of laying in together all season long. We've seen UNC a lot. We've seen St. Mary's a lot. We've seen that original matchup between St. Mary's and ICC, where St. Mary's got absolutely demolished the first time we watched them play, but it has just been the St. Mary's revenge tour since. They have been going on a tear time after time after time, and we'll finally get to see that rematch that we've been hyping up so much in that final match today. I mean, what a schedule for today's matchups.
What a schedule. I mean, it's not the only big thing here to talk about playoffs. I mean, we got a whole new COD season coming up. A whole new cycle started over the weekend. You got Vanguard out, and I'm curious to see if these teams, have they been practicing Cold War? What are we going to get out of them? Because, you know, these are 2 different engines. You know, you come back here and things are totally different. It's like flipping your controls upside down. So that's going to be interesting to see. Will these teams be ready for each other when we move into this first matchup? University of Tennessee Knoxville versus the University of North Carolina Wilmington. We take a look at our head-to-head right now, because University of Tennessee coming out in that 2nd seed in their division, whereas University of North Carolina Wilmington, that 3rd seed. You're looking at them now. Can Wilmington upset Tennessee?
And that's the big question, right? Like the last time we watched these 2 teams play against each other, it really was a University of Tennessee Knoxville just kind of stomping. They 3-0'd them. Yes, some of the maps looked a little bit closer than what maybe you would have thought they would have looked, but UTK, it was a pretty solid win for themselves. They were able to win the Checkmate Hardpoint 250-78, a Moscow Search and Destroy 6-5, and a Garrison 3-1. So not the cleanest of victories, but still a 3-0 nonetheless. They're going to be coming into this one confident. Now, on the other hand, though, that was all the way back in week 7. Now we look since week 7, University of North Carolina Wilmington, they've been very good once again. We saw them last week on stream, and they looked fantastic against the UCF Knights. They won 2 respawns against them in form of the hardpoint. Their hardpoint has been top-notch all year long, one of the top teams, sitting at 12-1 in hardpoint right now. And if they can continue that form in hardpoint, you got to think they at least have a chance in this series.
And that's the big thing we've been talking about all year, is the growth out of these teams. What are we going to see for the semester? Because these are sometimes new rosters coming together for the first time. So I think Wilmington showed a lot of growth last week. Will they be able to keep it up to pace this week. I think when you're looking at Tennessee, it's going to be a tough partner. As you stated, they've already lost to the side of to Tennessee before in a 3-0 fashion. I think we're going to be seeing a different setup, though, when we're looking at that. We look at the maps here, and we get to see APOC Hardpoint to start this one off. Moscow Search and Destroy is map number 2. Checkmate Control is map number 3. And then if we're going the distance, Moscow and Raid.
Yeah, and so as you guys can see, the only map that's being replayed from the first time that they played is that Moscow Search and Destroy. I mean, I'm all excited for that one now, Colin. I mean, it was a 6-5 the last time they played it, and now they've only had more and more time to kind of perfect these maps and get better and better at them. So you got to think that Moscow Search and Destroy is going to be something that's going to be everything going into this series. Also, looking at kind of the rest of it, with the way that the map records look for both these teams, and the fact that University of Tennessee Knoxville, they're 10-1 hardpoint, 7-2 search and destroy, 8-1 control. That's a pretty well balanced game mode. You can tell they're really well practiced at everything. When you look at the other side of the page now, you've got University of North Carolina, Wilmington. They're 12-1 hardpoint, best map mode by everything, by any stretch of the imagination. But then you look at their search and destroy, 6-5, not the greatest, not the worst. Control, 5-4. As important as the hard points are, and as good as we saw them in the hard points last week, and we know that they're going to be very important for them to win them, they need to take one of those 3 game modes. They need to take one of the 2 searches, and they need to take or the control. And so you got to think, if they can maybe take one of those modes, that's when they're going to have their best chance of being able to win this.
And you have to think that one loss for Hardpoint is at the hands of Tennessee. Hopefully for Wilmington and their end, it's not their kryptonite. As you hop into Apocalypse for map number 1, we get that first hardpoint underway. Tennessee with the less preferred side, so they are going to have to battle their way through the map. Trying to flip the spawns out for Wilmington. You can see King looking to approach from the underneath the stilts. Right now, Tennessee in control of this first hill, and Wilmington, they need to be careful. They can push too much. They need to make sure that they can lock this down, because look at Sweats. He did get the spawn out, so that's dangerous.
And you got to think that this map 1 is just an absolute must-win right now for UNCW. They want to be able to take this map 1 so that they know that it will give them some confidence going into the later half. But also, if they don't take this map 1, I mean, this is your best mode. You don't want to go into the weaker of your modes down 0-1 already in the series here. And I mean, off to a good start here so far. But with this push forward from Tennessee, it should spawn 2 players on UNCW out, and it absolutely does. So this is now Tennessee's chance to push all the way through and make a break onto this second hill. Only Percy here left in the back. He needs to go huge for his squad.
He's got the reinforcements coming out. Percy, he falls to King as he's blooded in the water right now, and King is a shark. He's going to clear that site. Wilmington no longer in control, now fighting from that less preferred side. Tennessee, they get the flip. Now they're in control. Going to be collecting this time, soaking it all up. And King's on a 5 spree as well. Let's make it 6 now. As he's close to these streaks, and you can see that Wilmington, they're afraid of this hill now. They know how hard it is to break. They're going to be taking a different route around, but honestly, Jesse, I don't know if this is the play.
They might not even want to hit this hill one more time. If I'm being completely honest here, I don't think you hit this again. With how close King is to streaks, you're going to know that too from looking at the scoreboard. And if you give this 2-man streaks right off the rip of the game, I mean, it can change the entire game on its head. They do find the kill onto King, though. You still need to be kind of worried about Sexy Poo, though. He's got 4 kills still. And so, I mean, you know he's going to be getting really, really close to trying to get those streaks as well. So keep an eye on him still.
Rise clears the hill again. Instant break from Tennessee. Almost seamless there. But Alpha is going to find that split. And Sfaxi Blue once again playing for that spawn. Wilmington get flipped again. Fighting from that lesser side once more. Percy's going to open up for the first blood. They go back and forth 2 for 2. Wilmington, they get a chance now to break the hill. They split the difference. D-Tatty gets in there, but even the read onto Shrexy. Going to stuff him out now. Wilmington looking to collect a little bit of time. Cut this lead up a little bit for chance now to keep them inside Apocalypse, because you know how dirty this map can get. Take a look at your mini-map. Player number 5, King. He's in behind. He's going to find one. Called for it. The revised pinch. The break from Tennessee, but it's only for a little bit of a moment right now, Jesse, because Wilmington barely holding on.
The big thing right now that I'm noticing throughout this is UNC Wilmington, they're doing a great job of getting over and getting the original setups, but they're just getting broke so fast on every rotation, it feels like right now. Even on this hill, they had 2 players closer to the hill, and now it's really going to be a one-on-one for initial time, where both of the teams are getting reinforcements coming off of spawn. And when you look on that left-hand side of the map, the closer spawn, it's still in favor of Tennessee, and they are going to be the first team to be able to get into this hill, to be able to get a solid setup on this hill once again. And this is just going to improve that lead over and over again. And we see it all the time here in Cold War on Apocalypse Hardpoint. You know that once you start to lose a couple of these hills, this is when the game can really start to get out of favor. They need to find a way to bounce back into this one early.
He stops the streak that game was on, but nobody can get into this hill. Finally a break there as he's gonna double down. And Wilmington, they really need to start putting some pressure on these spawns. They got revised actually spawning all the way out in Narnia, but no kills on the other side. Wilmington, once again, they get blocked, shut at the gates. Now Tennessee can set up for this rotation, something they haven't been able to do. They've been constantly breaking. Now they're in the driver's seat. You look at the arrows for Wilmington, Jesse. They're rushing to this hill.
The spawns, once again, they're still just going to be in favor of Tennessee, and that's where it's really going to start to become a big problem for UNC Wilmington. If they can't start to get in control of some of these spawns, it's just going to continue to force spawn outs, continue to make easy one-on-one fights for the Tennessee players that are just going to be in position over and over again to be able to win these gunfights. And it just keeps them spawning out deeper and giving more and more time to Tennessee. And I mean, look at the score. It is starting to climb up more and more. And I mean, we've seen some ridiculous hardpoint comebacks on Apocalypse Hardpoint, but you got to think, if UNC Wilmington are not going to start rotating and start winning these rotational battles, it's going to be over before it starts here.
It is, and now would have been some good time for 18 seconds, but it is going to have to be up to these last 2 members. Revised. Okay, I see you. A nice little 3 in a row there to lock down the rest of this hill, and we're going back to the second set of rotations. Tennessee up 153 to 64, almost a whole 100-point lead, and they are here first once again. Look at the arrows of Wilmington. Look at where they're spawning again. So far from this hill.
And the whole right-hand side of the map as well is in Tennessee's favor here. They can honestly put it away in these next 2 hills if they can keep this spawn trap intact and don't allow these UNC Wilmington players to get across the map and get into powerful positions to shut them down or to try to get across this. And they're doing it over and over again right now, just shutting this down. Alpha might be able to get a read onto one. This could open up a couple of lanes for the UNC Wilmington players to try to get out, but it doesn't matter. He has the backup. The rest of the Tennessee players, they shut them down. And with 20 seconds left on this hill and the right-hand side of the map still so in favor of Tennessee, they can absolutely string these 2 hills together and try to put this one away here.
Tennessee winning the fights in the hill. They're winning the rotation battles. They're winning the game right now. And with this second rotation, they're basically in striking distance of a victory. Yes, you can end this in this hill with a perfect 60, but I'm sure Wilmington will get in for a few seconds. Revise the big 2-piece off screen. D-Tatty makes his way behind, and the Euro expawns out of there from Wilmington. Now they can pinch it from behind. Will they get the read on King? He's going to hop up in the gold. Perzy's going to go down. Snaps to Alpha. D-Tatty in his sights, but he's going to play the safe battle. Goes in for seconds. Now, can he find the dessert around the corner? No, he's going to play it safe. He's going to play the hill, but Sweets gets around and shuts it down.
So now it's going to be interesting to see here how Wilmington plays this rotation as well, because realistically, with how much time is left on this hill, this should be their last 30 seconds, and the break has come through. Now, we saw that Tennessee, they were able to get a great rotation from Hill 2 to Hill 3 on the last time. That's really what started to chunk that lead open and give them a big lead here in this game. Wilmington's going to need to answer back with one of their own here on this rotation if they want to be able to start to bring this one back. Now only down 100 points. This is really their chance to bring themselves right back into this game.
How many times have we seen Apocalypse come back, Jesse?
It's crazy how many times. It literally happens. It feels like every single time we get on stream, it happens at least once a stream. We've seen a crazy Apocalypse Hardpoint comeback.
The break was there, but Tennessee still finding that Shvaxipu to split the difference now, cleaning up that spawn. Wilmington, they're going to be fighting from the front now. Alstro, haven't talked about him too much, but playing this map control, playing up close and personal with the Diamante up top. Here's the collapse from Wilmington, actually finding a few kills their way. And they're going to actually find a second one, so if they can take care of Alstro, they can take this site. Now, it's exactly what they're going to have, still in it and still collecting some time.
I think the big thing, too, that we need to look at from that first set of rotations is, yes, it's a big lead right now for Tennessee that Wilmington is having to try to claw their way back into right now. But at the very least, they never gave up streaks throughout that big first chunk of the game. So, I mean, if you're looking at positives right now and you're looking glass half empty versus glass half full, they didn't give up those streaks. They can still try to bring this game back. This break and this hold right now is going to be absolutely everything for Wilmington.
King playing the outside angle. That's the rotation now. Should be here to turtle. It's big one-on-one between Alstro and D-Tatty, and has help from that. The team shots are going to come through. Wilmington still fighting from Temple side. But here comes Tennessee now for the break. Instantaneously, they get into this hill now, collecting this time, looking to end it here, holding the front line. King on a 4 spree. Are they going to call those strikes? And that revives has. He has the artillery strike in his backhand. They can hold it off that front of the hill. 15 seconds left, Jesse, and they're chopping them down as they flood on in. The closest player is going to be this player number 2, D-Tatty. Now 7 seconds left, and I don't know if it's going to be possible. They have to run, and they have to run now. They're going to have to put a foot on the table at some point, but no, Tennessee shuts the door. 250 to 135, a convincing win here on Apocalypse.
Yeah, that was a very clean win from University of Tennessee Knoxville. I mean, they probably would have wanted to get it done a little bit sooner there and not get broken into P2. But can we talk about King in that map number 1? Drops over 30 kills. He was at least double positive. I didn't see exactly where he was at the very end of that game, but King, absolutely. It felt like every single time they needed a big break or a big hold from somebody on their team, it was the submachine gun player on the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, just showing up time and time again. It was the first set of rotations into Hill 2. He was the solo player there. He found 2 kills, started to spawn out the players on the likes of North Carolina, Wilmington. The second set of rotations, same exact hill. He sat on gold and found all 4 kills. Yes, they didn't break the hill, and yes, they didn't hold on to it, but he slowed them down and didn't allow Wilmington to get even more time on that hill. And that's really what you got to think was the difference maker in that matchup.
I think King's a huge talking point because constantly when we saw him, he was on a 5 spree, a 6 spree. He wasn't able to get the streaks, but he was allowing so much control to the map that eventually Revise found streaks of his own. So really, Tennessee, they came out and they slayed out. Wilmington, they were having trouble mostly in the gunfights that they were taking because you saw it constantly. They were there on the rotations. They just weren't able to lock them down. So not the start you want if you're Wilmington. I mean, you and I both set this up. Hard points are what they should be winning, really, but it just seems like Tennessee's their kryptonite.
It's kind of crazy because you say it's their kryptonite, and it absolutely is. When you look overall that record, that 12-1 record going into that last map, their only 1 map loss in hardpoint was to the University of Tennessee Knoxville. Now, you know what? They're 12-2. Add up another loss onto the chain because Tennessee Knoxville, they're not going anywhere. And now, if you're a University of North Carolina Wilmington fan, you got to be a little bit nervous right now. Going into these next 2 modes, this is where your team has struggled all year long. 6-5 in Search and Destroy, 5-4 in Control. These 2 modes have been the kind of like the pinnacle of what's been the problem for this UNC Wilmington team, what's not allowed them to take that jump up from the 3rd seed up to that 2nd seed, up to that 1st seed. They need to find a way here today to win now 2 of the 3 game modes of these 3 matches and to hopefully pick up the next hardpoint match if we end up getting that far. It's just going to be very, very tough from this point on for Wilmington.
Last week, Wilmington got smoked in the Search and Destroy. And the Control as well. I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, yeah, you're going up against the number 1 seed, so it's not an easy feat to kind of find. But I mean, this is really where you got to pull this back. We have to see that growth. We have to see the changes. Right away, I'm seeing a change, a B hit off this first round. Something we talk about a lot, Jesse, but we rarely get to see.
It's something you absolutely love to see. This B site completely wide open. You can see Tennessee not ready for that hit at all. But Revise, he might be able to get up and get into a powerful position here. D-Tatty should be at the back to be able to at least watch over that for the time being now. But he's actually getting caught out. And bomb goes down. And now you pretty much just have 2 UNC Wilmington players just in awful spots.
And you got King coming on the flank here to put this through. Percy's found his way into the apartments, but it shouldn't be for long. It's an opening for 1, but the shutdown for the 2nd. Tennessee find this first round, and honestly, they give up that B site. The retake was pretty seamless.
It wasn't even a retake. Like, it kind of was, but bomb never goes down, and I think that's the big problem with that round is you really just never get the bomb down in that situation. Once you have that much map control and you notice there's nobody in that B site, that bomb needs to go down immediately just to kind of make Tennessee force them out of those powerful positions in the back. But it kind of just felt like UNC Wilmington was just pushing into them. They just allowed them to sit back in the back of their spawn, pushed out, and found easy kills for the Tennessee players to shut down that Wilmington push. I liked that round 1 push. Hopefully that doesn't shy them away from going towards B later on in this game.
We're here in round number 2 now. Tennessee on the attack. A lot more default. Something we're used to seeing. Just Lone player over towards streets and more emphasis towards that A site looking for a pick. The difference is, though, that King, that player towards street, he's the one with the bomb. So kind of undecided where we're going to be seeing Tennessee rotate to. I think this is an interesting setup to Wilmington as well. They're dedicating 3 players to the A site, and player number 1, Sweets, is going to be playing for that information for the cross to see if Tennessee do want that B site or not.
Sweets has been tagged up multiple times in this round, and
No.
he will get caught out as well. So Percy's going to need to make the rotation over from the left side over towards this right side, and at least he finds one. He can slow that rotation down and try to help his team as they try to rotate over now.
D-Tatty gets the trade 2v2. See, Alpha has the pinch on player number 6, but Sfaxiplu has found the opening. I don't think D-Tatty's going to be ready for this. It shouldn't be a free kill, but the turn and burn. Hello. Goodbye, Sfaxi. Bomb gets planted at B now, 45 seconds the other way. The pressure gets flipped, but like to see Wilmington play for this trade. King, oh, this is a heads-up play now. Has the escape. Not sure if D-Tatty saw this, but it does look like these players are reacting to it as if they know shots through the window. D-Tatty's very low. Alpha yet to get into this battle. They're going to swing in, and they're going to find the kill. Brilliant out of Wilmington. They put themselves on the board.
That round got a little scary quickly when Sweets fell early on, but it's the big play from Perzy's. Middle of that round, he's sitting in the back. He's basically that buffer player in between the A site and the B site. He realizes, hey, you know what? We got a lot of pressure going over towards A. Let me get back here, try to back up Sweets. Sweets falls. He at least gets the trade to kind of even that round out, because you got to think if he doesn't find that trade there, it's a 2v4, probably the round a lot easier to the likes of the University of Tennessee, but he gets the trade, and it allows D-Tatty to push out, find the kill here to put us into a 2v2, and this kill, you got to think that this could just be a big misplay from Spexy as well. He comes out, he's kind of tunnel visioning those doors, doesn't look to his right, doesn't see D-Tatty. D-Tatty finds the kill and is able to open that round out for them so much easier, and that allows Wilmington right back into this game at 1-1.
Well, back on attack, though, for Wilmington. What do you want to see them do this time around, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, probably switch it up a little bit here. Don't consistently hit towards that B site. Let's see, maybe an A hit out this time, a little bit something more conventional. They just kind of want to bring the gunfights to Tennessee this round.
Well, that's what they're doing. A 2-on-4 right out of these escalators. King on the pillar. Is he going to be ready for it? Has the crossfire with Sfaxi, and Sfaxi's actually going to find Percy. That's first blood for Tennessee. It's going to provide this map control to the middle. Alpha, quick to strike. Can he find the second? He can. Now here comes the pounce from these Tennessee players inside checkers. Oh, he might have the angle. That's going to be bombed down. The trade evens us up 2 versus 2, and now Wilmington are going to have to react.
Thing is, though, is they get that kill and they just push completely off the site. I love this play from Tennessee. They're just going to make the big flank play in through library, but they need to be sure that Sweets isn't just set up and ready for this push. He probably heard that jump, and he finds the first. Will he get the second as well? No, he won't. So it's going to force us into a 1v1 now. Bomb does go down. Alpha has all the information in the world as well.
Alpha knows. Shots are good. The nade. Oh, that's a close one, but Alstro's going to stay alive to fight another fight. 33 seconds. Break versus AK-74U. And Alstro actually might get some bad time here. Alpha's made his way through. Oh, they both catch bad time. Nobody's seen each other. But the chase is on still. Alpha has an idea. Oh, he knows. Now he knows, if not before. And he's just going to be looking to burn this clock even more. Bombs planted for Eski, so Alstro is going to have to put himself in a very uncomfortable situation. Now, sticking the defuse. Alpha's going to check it, and that's going to be a free kill.
Perfectly played from Alpha at the end of that round there. And I mean, I think he would have had the ace there if Sweets didn't find the one, but this is the break off here for Alpha. He finds the easy kill on the King and rotates it straight over and finds Spexy on the side as well. Huge kills from him, opens up that bomb site when they were already in a man disadvantage in the round. And so far for UNC Wilmington, when they seem to find themselves in these tough situations on this map so far, it's been individual gunfights and individual plays that has really been able to find themselves these first 2 rounds.
Wilmington for the push. On defense, meeting fire with fire here, but they are going to be at that player disadvantage. It's 3v4. Crossfire set up, but King, brilliant shots there. The trade from D-Tatty around the pillar. Has the backup from Alpha. They're playing hand in hand, but still Astro working with Revise to break this site. It's a 2v1 as you look at Sweets. He's making that quick flank, Jesse, all the way through the spawn. All the way in behind. Making sure he takes his time to clear everything.
He will clear everything out, but he's in such a disadvantage in this round now because they put the bomb down and they actually have it down to be able to watch from the defensive side of the map as well. So map at this point pretty much flips. Sweets needs to find a way to not only find both of these kills, but also a bomb defuse, and time is just ticking more and more. Only 25 seconds left to do it.
7.5 is what you need to win the round. Astro should have spotted that one, but might have been some time to Sweets as Revise hasn't really reacted here. Sweets, the 74 used ready. Tennessee even us back up. That's a big round too. I mean, Wilmington, they had the dedication to A. They met fire with fire, but they played the trade battle, and you see Revise getting behind them. Even if Alstro didn't find that kill, they would have been able to get that bomb down.
Yeah, it's been a pretty... That was one of our easier offenses that we've seen come in so far. Once Alstro found that two-piece and a 2v1, they've just played it so perfectly. And they didn't even have the map information on where that final player in Sweets was, but they made their decision. They wanted to play the A site. They wanted to do it from the defensive side of the map, and it works out so well for them there. They never had to overcommit to anything and just keep watching each other's backs. Works out perfectly. Now UNC Wilmington back on offense. B didn't work out for them round number 1. They're going to decide they want to go back over towards the A site, but this time we're going to get a 3-stack back from University of Tennessee.
Oh, King's making the extension.
Oh, he's getting super aggressive.
Oh, he's just going to lay prone. This is such a ratty angle. If somebody hops up, they might not check it, and he's going to be right behind this whole team if they get too aggressive. And got Revise holding one side.
Oh, look at the flank coming in, too.
Somebody's there, and there you go. 1 for 1. They know King's here. Can they trade it out? No, they can't because Revise is going to be here now, but Sweets is going to have their back. A 2v1 the other way. Alstro behind him. That gives it away. They know exactly where he's going to be playing, Jesse. Now it's just time to get this bomb down, set up for the post plants towards screens and garden, and hope that you can catch some good timing here to play the trade battle against Alstro. He's now going to be rotating up inside the escalators. D10 is going to take that contact if he's going to be facing this bomb, but eventually he's going to check that. And eventually Alstro's going to have to take this. And there he goes. The slide out. D10 is going to win it. No need for the trade.
Almost a picture-in-picture of what happened in the last round, but just flipped on its head. But that round could have gone so well for the likes of University of Tennessee, but it just, unfortunately, they end up getting 2 shots in there. And the player that was on the flank, I believe it was Alpha, just a little bit too late on the flank play in the back. And it just ends up costing them in that round. Sorry, it was Alstro who ends up costing them that round. If he's a second earlier, he probably finds that kill on the Sweets. They don't get that 2-piece, and they probably close that round out for themselves there. Just COD timing at its finest. Doesn't work out for them. But, I mean, if you're liking these A hits and these bloody rounds, we're about to see another one really quickly here.
So we are stacked on top of each other, expecting to push through pillars, but somebody's on the flank, and Sweets is there to watch their backs. Faxi is going to drop first blood to Wilmington. The pace is going to slow down instantly out of Tennessee as they know they need to take something back, but realistically, if they realize it, they could rotate this bomb to B for free. Thing is, are they going to do that? It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Everybody on Wilmington playing this very patiently. Here's the go-ahead. Revise going to find that trade. Gets in and out. Now going for seconds. What a play onto Alpha. A little bit of a check to allow King to find the second one. Now Sweets doesn't know what hit him. Look at Alstro in behind. That was perfect out of Tennessee.
Well, that's all on Revised as well. Revised finds this huge 2-piece. We'll get to see it again right here. They were in a 3 versus 4. Very quickly turns it into not only a 3v3, but a 3v2 for their favor, as King also finds the kill on a D-Tatty on the outside there. Crazy, crazy stuff from the submachine guns on Tennessee, and that's the submachine guns that we saw in round number 1 from King. And once they find those big kills from King and Revised, it makes it so tough for the other team to be able to answer back. If they can find a way to continue to play at that pace and find those gunfights, that's when Tennessee's really going to be able to start to take over this game.
Where are the trades, Jesse? Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let Revise just dip in and get out with 2 kills and not allow a thing.
Oh, I thought King was about to do the exact same thing, but a 4-on-3 for the side. Look at Alstro now, that ratty player, that lurking player again making the flank threat play, but on the site, Tennessee winning every single battle they can ask for.
Tennessee, or is it Revised and King once again? All 4 kills on the round go to the 2 submachine gun players.
Alishore didn't even need to flank. I mean, it was really just Wilmington taking some pretty tough gunfights. They were playing into the hands, they're playing into the trap, and you can see that Tennessee, they know exactly how they want Wilmington to play this, and they're feeding them into their game.
UNC Wilmington, they're going to need to find an answer on offense. They can't keep hitting towards that A site. It's just not going to work out for them. It hasn't been working out for them in those last 2 rounds. They need to try to hit that B site again or hit towards mid. Just do something different. You just can't keep walking into the trap that Tennessee is setting up. And talking about traps, UNC Wilmington, they were trying to throw one of their own over towards A, but it is not going to be the case. Tennessee completely switch it up. All 4 players hit towards Boulevard. They should have an open bomb site on this B site for them to be able to get this into, but they're moving pretty slowly. UNC Wilmington might be able to catch them off guard here.
Oh, Percy. That's bombed down. He's just going to nade there. He's going to play his life. As Wilmington, they were quick to realize their mistake. So they rotated around and very cautiously checking these angles. Percy's going to find a second.
Again, it's one of those sites where you hit towards the B site, you don't have all the information in the world, and they just take way too long to try to get that bomb down. Now in a 2 versus 4, Spexy and Revise, they need to find a way to get out with this bomb and get it down somewhere else. Spexy just gets around that wall. I thought he was going to get away, but he reach-owls, falls to Sweets. It's going to leave Revise on a 4 streak by himself. He might just choose to play streaks here as opposed to try to win the round.
Oh, well, he only has 3 HP, so if you're going to play for streaks, you gotta get out of dodge. 12 seconds left to take this over to the next round. The hunt is on from Wilmington. Alpha's gonna come swinging wide. That's 6 in a row now. One more would give you the artillery strike, and I think that Percy and Z-Tatty, they understand the situation. They're just gonna play the win.
Ties us up at 4-4 here, and I mean, I thought for sure that was almost going to be a for sure round win for the likes of Tennessee, but again, it's just too slow of a hit that round. They don't get the bomb down in time. Sweets gets just enough time to get all the way back over from North Carolina to get back up into that top police building and find the first kill. But they were so out of position, and Tennessee still just does not get that bomb down. Now, if you're Wilmington here, you know the A site has worked once, but it's been 2 rounds in a row. You've just been stuffed over towards this site, and it just does not matter. They have no confidence in that B hit right now, and it's going to be a full force hit once again over towards Eskies.
Wilmington, breaks off Sfaxi. Not gonna find the kill, but gonna find some control of this A site in those hit markers. King's playing this close angle. Should get that bomb go down. That's a big one from Sfaxi. First blood to Tennessee. Can't get that bomb planter down. Sweets is covering their angles. But look at the mini-map, because now Tennessee have them in a trap. Here comes Rise around the backside. Is going to find the one on Sweets. Sfaxi looking to break in, but the trades from Alpha 2v2. Wilmington now just need to take their one-on-ones. Back into a corner. D-Tatty's going to find Revise. Now 2v1 for Alishore to clutch up on. And both these players just going to play ring around the Rosie to find the round advantage. Wilmington looking for their 5th, and that's exactly what they're going to get.
Last time we saw these 2 teams, it went full round 11 on the Moscow Search and Destroy. It looks very likely like we could see that again here. This kill, though, not only is it the best play of the round, but a very important kill for Revised. It found him that 7th kill in a row. He does get 1 streak on the board. That streak is everything. It gives you so much information. And we've seen the later and later that this year's gone along, there's small little areas on this map that you can drop those streaks in as well to get players out of powerful positions, to open up bomb sites for you to get those bombs down, and even sometimes find a couple kills with that artillery strike. We've seen it happen a few times here. We'll see what the play call is for the likes of Tennessee and Revised. I don't know how I feel about this. He's going to be the first player in. If he falls, that streak basically becomes void.
Void and null. But nonetheless, confident as ever with his team. The follow-through is there for Tennessee, and D-Tatty should back up.
See that guy cross?
I'm not sure, but it does seem like we're about to get a fight off screen. Sweets gets caught. That should be the go-ahead now for Wilmington to look to overwhelm this site. Bomb's going to be starting to get planted. Shvaxifu's going to double down. And now Wilmington will have to fight back from the disadvantage, Jesse, and it's just too much to fight.
And I'm not 100%, but I don't think Revise used that streak in the slightest in that round. He didn't use the streak for sure, but I don't think he even used the ping in that round. So they should have a ping for round 11 here. But who would have thought, Colin? We saw round 11 the last time these 2 teams played this map mode combo. Once again, round 11 here. And it's UNC Wilmington back on offense again. They got shut down in that very last round, and Revise, he can just try to do it again right here. He's been the clutch player here for Tennessee so far here in this game, and we'll see if he decides to use this streak. He's looking like he just wants to be full force forward again, though, but he will sit back. He's going to let King push up and be that furthest player forward. He wants to make sure he uses this streak here in round 11.
Another Tennessee first blood. Here's going to be the streak to ping these players out. Drops them in the exit. The force from D-Tatty is going to trade this back, though. Tennessee keeping that player advantage now. Streaks are down. The big guns are out. Sweets is on the run, and hunting is going to be the Tennessee of Knoxville squad. A 1v3 to win this out. Tennessee on pace to go up 2-0 right now into the series. You have to pick up this bomb. You have to find the kills or destroy the objective. That should be a good opening here from Sweet. So around this back, but King's going to catch that good timing. The call-out's going to be out around the corner. King now waiting for the trade because they just need to watch this bomb. 28 seconds left. Sweet's taking their dear old time. They're going to be walking right into King, looking to put this round away, and he's going to hightail it out of there.
Oh, he's got just enough time to get over towards the other side and get this bomb down now, and he knows he needs to just full send it. Bomb should be able to get planted here, but as soon as this bomb goes down, it's going to be gunfights galore.
Yes, it is, King. Right on his tail. Sweet should know this, but King's still going to get that headshot. Tennessee win the search and destroy again in a round 11. They're going up 2-0 in the series, Jesse, and they're looking to convert this into another sweep, just like the last time they met.
University of Tennessee Knoxville. They're not going to go down without a fight. They come back, and once again, they win 2 rounds in a row. Once University of North Carolina Wilmington get that 5-4 lead, it was just clean round after clean round, and I don't think that streak ever even came into use. But nonetheless, actually, he did drop it in that round, but it actually kind of didn't work out in his favor. Revise dropped the streak, now that I think about it, and they instantly just pushed through to find him in that corner, but does not matter. He was the only player in that round to drop for University of Tennessee before the end of the round, obviously, once Sweets found that one, but it just kind of looked like it was just never out of the question there. Tennessee Knoxville just able to close it out, able to take that game once again.
And something we were really hoping for today was the growth out of Wilmington from the last time these two teams met, but we've seen this story before. We've seen Tennessee in this exact position, and they win it the exact same way too. I mean, going to another round 11, a little bit of deja vu here, and if you're a North Carolina Wilmington fan, you're not feeling good about this one right now. You gotta convert this into a reverse sweep. Raids coming up next for the Control, and this is another map. We saw them play Control last week, and they just did not look like they were able to keep pace.
Just a little correction. It's Checkmate Control coming up next. But you're not wrong. It really was last week. University of Tennessee, or not University of Tennessee, the University of North Carolina Wilmington. They just looked like they were struggling last week in Control. It looked very uncomfortable for them in that game mode. I believe it was Raid that they played last week that we saw on stream, if I double check that really quickly. It was Raid Control that they played last week, and they got 3-1. They didn't look very comfortable on that map mode combo at all. So they switched it up this week. That was probably their ban this week because of how it looked. They go in, now they go to Checkmate. And I mean, arguably, I think Checkmate is a more fundamentally harder map in Control to play than Raid is. So when you're looking at this as Wilmington and you need to be able to take a map, maybe this might be their chance to do it. Maybe they feel a little bit more practiced on this map mode combo. They feel like they can come out and they don't just have to worry about winning offenses over and over again. They can focus up, try to take some defenses, because defense technically is the stronger of the two on this mode, on this map mode combo. So if they can find a way to come out, they can take this defense and then sneak an offense out. Maybe Wilmington can take this map.
And one thing on Checkmate that we've known forever is the spawn trap. I think this is the nastiest spawn trap that I've seen in Call of Duty in a while when it comes to competitive play, at least. And Control, I mean, you see it on Raid, you see it on Garrison, but you don't see a spawn trap like this. When you look at Checkmate, that's a very AR-centric map. I think that's when the submachine guns can really take a lot out of their kind of pacing, a lot out of what the assault rifle players find, and use that opportunity to push that defending side up a little bit, push that line of scrimmage right up to the spawn, use those ratty angles, use the cover to block out whoever's on that attack, and that's when things can really get nasty. I think for Wilmington, you switch up raid to this map, you're going to have to step up to that AR battle, and I haven't seen that yet today, so things need to change fast.
I think maybe the strong thing for Wilmington is they do have Sweets, and Sweets has been probably their best player here today so far. He's got that AR in hand. He needs to step up for the team, though. Put this team on your back. I think might be the only thing I'm worried about right now for Tennessee, or sorry, not for Tennessee, for North Carolina, is that this plane control is so important on this map, and the submachine gun battle has just been so dominant so far for the likes of Revised and King that I think it's going to be very tough for University of North Carolina to get a lot of plane control on this map.
Attackers are already at A. Revised and Co are going to be stacking the site, gaining progression very fast. Alpha from on top of the crate, a little bit of shaky shots, not able to finish it off, playing for the pinch out. D-Tatty to work with him, and that's a big break out of Wilmington. They don't give up the second tick just yet.
No, only a tick and a half of progress, but nobody on the hill yet either to kind of take that progress away. And I mean, even though they find 2 kills, they really don't take any of the map control away here. King gets caught with his pants slipping there, not able to find that kill, while sitting in a corner. But with those couple kills, they finally get some map control. North Carolina, Wilmington, they shut down that initial push. They get that tick revised. Now they can try to push forward and try to get the spawn trap locked in.
Null and Void. Tennessee, they need to hold this exit through play, and Wilmington looking for this one big team fight to get them to push this line of skirmish that we've been talking about. However, on the opposite end, Tennessee find an opening now. It's a 2-for-2 trade. Svaxipoo looking to overwhelm towards the B side, and you're going to have the player number 1, King, extend himself in here to stop the clock at 23 seconds, start getting this time at B end. This is really going to throw Wilmington through a loop. Are they going to dedicate players to the opposite side of the map? It looks like they are going to put all 3 over there. Clean up King, and that's going to leave the A site susceptible for take. D-Tatty looking to hold this. The crossfire is good. Alpha doubles down, and Wilmington now in a really good spot to put the round away.
Yeah, they just need to push forward now. They can continue just to shut these players down off spawn. But King, once he finds those 2 kills, it actually opens up that right-hand lane. He can get onto the hill. He finds all 3 in succession. And now the tick of progress is going to start coming in. Second tick should be good with only 8 seconds left and only 1 player close enough to the hill now for the Wilmington players. D-Tatty falls, and this should be the A zone. And actually, with a 4 down there, this should be an easy rotation from B to A. They get a minute left on the clock, and kills are in the favor now for Tennessee.
King hitting that turning point right there. The X factor of Tennessee Knoxville. Wilmington, they need to bounce back. That's a good start. Percy and D-Tatty, they find 2, so Tennessee aren't able to stack the site just yet. You're going to call for Wilmington now to reverse themselves out, look to clean up their spawns, and make sure that Tennessee aren't spawn trapping Wilmington in their own half. So you can see that as these players in Knoxville are going to be coming off spawn, they are going to be closing in on the Wilmington players. Svaxipoo with a big one-on-one outside of the point. It's going to be Alstro working alongside them. 2 go down again, make it 3 for Wilmington. It's a good opportunity to get on the site, but nobody's really in a good position from Tennessee to hop on this. Time's going fast. They have to rethink this strategy, but I think at one point you have to be careful of your Wilmington because you also have no respawns for yourself. So this is definitely backed into a corner, looking to bite a big chunk out of Tennessee. Things slow down now. You clear out Tennessee from this hill. 17 seconds left. Alstro underneath, bobbing in and out. D-Tatty's gonna get caught looking the wrong way. That's a chance now for Tennessee to take advantage of this whole game. 2 players left. Tennessee looking to wrap this up. Jesse, only 1 left. It's Sweets. They know where he is and where to find him. So really, if Sweets needs to take this, he needs to turn up, and that's just not the case right now.
It looked so good for Wilmington. Only 8 seconds left. All they needed to do was find a few more kills, and they had the spawn trap locked in. They knew exactly where the players on Tennessee Knoxville were going to be coming out, but UTK and King more so. He finds 3 in a row on the rotation out of that yellow crate in the back right-hand side of the map. He finds all 3 players on the likes of UNCW that were close enough to the hill, breaks on in, finds the 4th, and they just get the hill. And once they locked that down, it was just easy kill after easy kill, it felt like, for UNC Wilmington. And they could never get back into that round once that was over.
Off the break, Wilmington now needs to bounce back into the site. They have 2 down. Flawlessly, too. They haven't dropped a player. Incandescent outro. Another one bites the dust. Now they can stack the A site. Haven't given up a life. They can start to get this progression through. Alpha up top of this wing. Nice shots on this Rexy, able to double down, but on site, Revise turns up, and Tennessee blocked that second tick again. They send Wilmington packing back to their spawns.
Revise, he's going to sit on that for a little bit just to get the tick kind of back, as it was already almost completed. He'll at least get that second tick progressed all the way back to around halfway. And now you can see the full focus right now for the Tennessee players are they want to just push forward. They want to try to start to put this spawn trap in, but it's just not going to work out in their favor. Wilmington, they'll be able to at least find 3. They can now push forward, get back onto this A site, and start to get this tick of progression. And because that tick never came down, and it was already at halfway, the second tick and third, they're just going to come so easily. Extra minute on the clock, and now a minute 43 left for the UNC Wilmington players to try to make their way over to B and get 3 ticks.
Jesse, this is a big turnaround from Wilmington. I mean, in game number 1, they looked like they just couldn't keep up with the slaying. Now, in game number 3, everybody's awake, everybody's warm, and honestly, Wilmington looked pretty good in this attack now with 3 down. They're going to hop this A site, stop the clock. Gotta worry about Alstro in the back because he's hunting you, and he's going to find 2 of them and walk out alive.
This is where the spawn trap once again can come full force. That's 4 down now. Everybody on Tennessee, they're going to put that full push forward. Everybody's holding forward on the sticks, and Alstro continuing on this spree. He's on 5 in a row. If he can find streaks, too, this could absolutely spell disastrous.
I don't think they know either of them just walked around them. Alpha finally going to drop Alstro in 6 in a row. 1 more would give you that artillery strike, and what looks so good from Wilmington. I don't know what happened in Tennessee, but they just came online. Revise almost getting the turn and burn on Alpha, but no, Wilmington still need to clean up. Alstro back here. There's the artillery strike. Can you find that cruise missile? I don't think it matters at this point. You already did your job. Anything now would just be more on top of that cake.
UNC's not out of this round yet. They still have a chance. There's 30 seconds left. They can try to make their way out of this spawn trap, but it just doesn't seem to matter, though. Tennessee, they just keep locking it down. Every time 1 player falls for Tennessee, it feels like 3 are falling for Wilmington. They will find that kill on the right-hand side, but once again, it's just instantly traded here for Tennessee. 2 go down. They can start to put the trap right back into full effect.
Percy slips through. He can't find a single soul. By the time he does, Revise is just going to put it back into that spawn. The spawn trap from Tennessee is deadly, and this is exactly what we were talking about. How much checkmate can just get out of your hands when somebody like Alstro turns up on a 7 spree that quickly. They flip this round. They get 2-0 now, and they back the side of North Carolina, Wilmington, into a corner.
It was a 7 life lead at one point in that round for University of North Carolina Wilmington. That finished with 15 kills into the favor of University of Tennessee. That's how strong and how fast this map can get flipped on your head on the defensive side. And this game, you got to think right now, after those first 2 rounds that were very winnable for UNC Wilmington, that this game is just kind of becoming one of those situations where it's so close but yet so far away. They could have won that first defense. They give up the timer with just 8 seconds left on that first offense for them. They allow the comeback from Tennessee. They let them come right back into this game, and it's just been their downfall so far here in this series.
The breakoff. Tennessee gets them onto the B side, Jesse, so no time gonna be lost. In fact, they're gonna get a tick at this site as well. By the time D-Tatty gets here, there's a crossfire to deal with. Able to find Alstro, but the trades go back and forth, and Wilmington finally get that site cleared with a 2 life advantage. Now 3. Again, it's not the start you want to see out of Wilmington. In this fact, Alpha's going to fly at them. Revise is going to pick him up off that mid-air acrobatics, and the rest of Tennessee are just going to sail on into these sites, look to put this A site away, and then with this already covered tick at B, they can rotate from A to B and cap it in no time.
King was trying to be a nuisance on the map. They're just trying to get into the face of the UNC Wilmington players, but not able to get the job done yet. They still do have a 6 life lead, though, and with Spexy being able to find those kills and these streaks still being in his hand, you got to think that this round is going to be very, very close to over if he uses these right off spawn here.
2 more ticks, and Tennessee are going to punch themselves into the playoffs. Wilmington, they need to dig deep here. They not only need to reverse sweep the game, but they need to reverse sweep the series. And that's a brilliant start of D-Tatty. They're going to be able to turn around now if they can find another set of 4. They can start setting up Tennessee in the spawn trap that they exactly put Wilmington into the previous round that we just saw. But there's the break from Straxy. It's enough to get King up into the plane. Overwhelms D-Tatty looking for a second. However, Alpha going to keep his team alive. Tennessee yet to get out of their spawn right now. Again, this is that back and forth term now where Wilmington and Tennessee are fighting for map control.
It is, but with every kill, it just kind of favors the Tennessee side right now with how big the kill difference is. More and more trades just means more and more chance for the Tennessee players to be able to close this game out with only 7 lives now remaining for UNC Wilmington. This clock is still stopped, and with those 4 down, the streaks are going to get called in to try to shut this down from the front, and it's a perfect usage of the streaks as Spexy's able to find one. It forces the rest of the players into bad positions, and this game, it is over. Tennessee, they come out, they 3-0 them once again, and I mean, we looked at this whole series, Colin. We thought this would be a lot closer, but it's almost a picture-in-picture perfect matchup when you look at their last series they played to this one, and it just looks like University of Tennessee Knoxville. They're just that one step closer and that one step higher than University of Carolina Wilmington.
Oh, baby, did we just get a series and a half out of Tennessee Knoxville. When I was looking at growth from them from the previous series, because obviously we saw Wilmington get a little bit better when they were playing University of Central Florida. Well, forget about that University of Central Florida game because Tennessee are just one step ahead of this squad. Now, that's going to be interesting here because I think Wilmington looked excellent last week. And if Tennessee can do this to them, who knows what they can do when they reach that conference final, Jesse? This is anyone's game right now in the division.
It really is. And I mean, we can kind of talk about it now too. I do have it written down. The last time that University of Tennessee took on the UCF Knights, it was still only a 3-1 victory for UCF. Tennessee Knoxville, they took the first hard point. They lost the last 3 maps. But that map 4 that they lost, it was a 250 to 246. That easily could have gone to game 5. So this division, it is not as clear cut as people might think. And University of Tennessee, they might just be able to make that upset next on Saturday when we go in towards our conference finals when they take on the UCF Knights. That's going to be a really, really good series.
Looking to be a good one. Looking to be a healthy one. Speaking of healthy, let's take a look at this read from Gummy Shot right now, because if you're not a fan of traditional energy gels, Jinx, coffee, or caffeine pills, now you can have caffeine and a great flavor. Gummy Shot gummies are made with a natural caffeine from green coffee bean extract, real fruit, and high antioxidants from vitamin D. These gluten-free gummies are free from gelatin, soy, and artificial dyes. So they're also going to be good for you as well. So if you're looking at powerful and long-lasting energy, each Gummy Shot energy has 75 milligrams of plant-based, fast-acting energy in each gummy. You can customize and decide how many you want to eat, either 1, 2, or 3. So I don't know about you, Cruz, but I used to eat those Flintstone gummies way back when, and I don't tell my mom, but I ate like a lot of them at that same time. They were good, but if these are bursting with flavor, the bold and the original flavors made with real fruits include the sweet and juicy elderberry, tropical, which is brimming with delicious pineapple and mango flavors, love that, and all new Valencia orange to satisfy that citrus craving. Each product comes as 3 or 8 packs and are available on Amazon. Click the link below in the Twitch panel if you want to order.
I mean, those sound delicious. I'm not going to lie to you.
They do.
I mean, as soon as you said that thing about the mango and the pineapple, my mouth started watering here for myself. And I mean, I love me some energy drinks. Anybody who knows me knows I always have one going with me. So, I mean, hey, maybe I might.
You need to cut back, and this could be you cutting back.
Maybe that could be my cutback. Maybe I could, kind of get set back on the energy drinks. Maybe start popping some gummies instead. We'll see what's up with that. Maybe I might have to look into it.
We're going to have to. Game number 2. It's going to be coming up over the break. Stay with us. You're watching NACE Starleague Call of Duty play-ins. We'll come back to you with our game number 2. Stay tuned. Folks, welcome back to the NACE Starleague play-ins. My name's Seymour. Alongside me is my great duo, Cruz. We just went through a 3-0 sweep from the University of Tennessee Knoxville over the University of North Carolina Wilmington. Now heading into our Game 2, Northwood University, Minnesota State, another play-in for a playoff spot. You got the number 2 seed in Northwood and the number 3 seed in Minnesota. I want to hear a little bit about these two, Jesse. Let's look at this head-to-head and break down these teams.
Yeah, I mean, the last time these two teams played, it was a very, very close matchup between them. It was a 3-1 victory for the likes of Northwood University, coming in as our second seed, and that 3-1 victory is actually what gives them the second seed over Minnesota State, with both of them coming through with losses to the likes of Illinois State as well. So when you're looking at this overall head-to-head between these two teams, the big thing when you go into this is that they both split hard points in the last series. It was two maps that really kind of went the favor of Northwood that really gave them the win. That was a Miami Search and Destroy and a checkmate hard point in the middle, but both of them super close, both hard points very close as well. And I mean, if I'm being completely honest with you, Colin, and I'm looking over this series, I really think we're about to get a full 5 series here.
I'd be down for that. I'd be totally open for a Game 5 series. I mean, both these teams are strong. And if you're familiar with collegiate Call of Duty, you'll be familiar with Northwood University. Sometimes it's like they just don't lose. So I'm sure they want that revenge against Illinois State. I'm sure they want to go into that conference final and come out with a win. But first, they got to get through Minnesota State here, and it's going to be a big one. Let's take a look at the maps. Let's take a look at the modes, because this best of 5 is going to take a long distance for if Cruz can predict this right. Apocalypse Hardpoint for that first one. Raid Search and Destroy for the second. Back to Checkmate Control for a third, and you look at that 4th and 5th, we get a second raid and an express to close this out. How are you feeling about this map set, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting map set. I might have the map set wrong in my own notebook here. I'm not too sure, but I thought we were going to Moscow for our second and raid for our final map. We might just have to get that cleared up with production as well. But yeah, it's definitely looking like a very good map set. Very fast hard points as well. I think that's gonna be a big thing and a big talking point for us to look at is Apocalypse and Raid Hardpoint. They play very similar. You're gonna be very submachine gun heavy for those two maps. And whether or not those two maps come through and we really see that big kind of pop off, that's really what's gonna be the difference here.
And as we see the changes in this, I'm going to reiterate the series. Apocalypse, Moscow, Checkmate, Moscow, Raid. The best of 5 between Northwood University and Minnesota State. Is it going to be a big one too? Because, I mean, I know you were highlighting both of these teams and both of them going up against Illinois. Yes, Minnesota State is that 3rd seed, but unlike Northwood, they actually took a map off that number 1 team. So I'm sure that this can get interesting, and if Minnesota's come and play their cards right, Northwood might not be ready this time around. I know they've already gone through this. They've been through the ring around each other, and Northwood came out on top, but do you have a feeling, do you have that gut feeling that this could go the other way?
I really do. I mean, we were talking about it in the green room before. I put my prediction out there. You put your prediction out there. We might as well make it on air now. You said you think you got Northwood taking this one, and I told you I think Minnesota State really has what it takes to come back, and they have what it takes to take this one. These two teams, I don't think you get two teams that are really more evenly matched. When you look at how that last series went, I mean, it was the Miami Search and Destroy as map 2. It was a 6-4 loss. That map, you got to think that 2 rounds go the other way. It's a completely different game. Checkmate Control. It was a 3-2. Very likely, whatever team got defense in the final round closed that game out. So you got to think, you know what? Maybe Minnesota gets defense this time in the final round. They can close out that control. Like I said, hard point split. Both those hard points that got split in the last game as well. Practically the exact same scores on both sides as well. It was a 250 to 170 score line for both of the matches. The interesting thing that we got to look at too is the fact that we're going to Apocalypse for map number 1. Apocalypse was map number 4 in the last series. It went the way of Northwood 250 to 171.
And I'm sure, all of you have been in that spot of you do something wrong and you're thinking in your head like, hey, run that back. I'm going to come out on top this time around. It's Minnesota looking to be those guys. If they can pull this back, it's going to be huge. I know that Northwood is looking to make a statement here in collegiate Call of Duty, and this being a good opportunity for them to make it into that playoffs for NACE Starleague, have a good start going into that Vanguard season, and not only that, getting another chance to play against teams like Illinois State. It's just more practice under your belt going into the new season that's going to come, Jesse. But when you're looking at this, and from Northwood's side, when you're looking at the maps, the modes, and how they're going to play it, we're starting off in Apocalypse, and is this where you want to see them?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fast-paced game mode, and for Northwood, like I said, they did win the Apocalypse the last time they played, so you got to think there's probably a Northwood pick coming through once again here, and just something that they're comfortable with. They want to play this map mode combo. It's probably one of their more comfort picks throughout the season, and what that tells me about Northwood, even though we haven't seen them a ton on stream so far this year, is that this team is a very fast-paced team. They want to be up and in your face. They want to be running at you, submachine guns out, hot and heavy, controlling the pace of the game. And if they can do that in this map number one, that's definitely how they can come out on top. But the thing they got to be worried about is this Minnesota State team. They have very good submachine guns on their side as well. They know what they need to do. And at a 250 to 171 match on Apocalypse in that first series, that's almost like one round to search and destroy with how much every hill on this game and every hill on this map can absolutely become a money hill.
It's true. And even for Apocalypse, 171 just seems a bit low sometimes with how back and forth this can be. But when you're looking at this, I do have to say for Apocalypse, it's one of those maps that when you see a team bring Apocalypse out to play, you know that they're going to be a good Apocalypse team because not a lot of teams do this. So let's take a look at this. Northwood looking to start off like they did last time, already in the hill. You look at the north and south right now from either side. It's going to be a battle for the rotations in the back line. Player number 6 losing to Bamith on that rotation, and that is a big opening now for Minnesota.
That's a perfect spawn flip right off the rip from the likes of Minnesota. They push all the way through from the left-hand side. They find a couple of kills, and they just completely push them out. K-Top, though, he will find 2 in the back, and this gives them the chance now for Northwood to push back through that right-hand side and flip those spawns back out. And you can see Minnesota, when they spawn up, they spawn at the old hill, so everything now working back into Northwood's favor. They can get set up. They can try to get a good hold here.
Oh, K-Top gets a good opening, but Sparrow finds that trade. So setting up for the pinch is going to be Minnesota into the back line. Northwood, they have to take their attention to this flank. White, those are some good shots in the slushy. It's going to back him up. It's going to tame him, and the rest of them are going to fly on out. They get the trades, overwhelm the site. It's a break for Minnesota.
And that's 2 breaks in a row now. Minnesota coming out hot to start this game off. I mean, you don't normally see breaks on the hill number 2. But they break hill 1 immediately, flip the spawns, they get broken right back, but get the break for themselves right back as well. And I mean, if this is how this game is going to be back and forth so far, as another break comes through for Northwood, we're about to be in for a absolutely exciting Apocalypse hard point.
It's break city out here. You know, I can't catch a break, but you know what? These teams can. Alex, looking to work for Stilts. It's a 2-for-1 right now, and Bam around the back. That's a big one for Minnesota. Can you double down on a K-Top? You know exactly where he is from the top ropes. Not looking the right way. Still Northwood looking to battle out for the Stilts control, but with 2 going the way of Minnesota, it looks like they're going to be the first ones here when the hill pops. That's what you're seeing, but Jesse, look at Slushy. Look at player number 6. Around the back, he's going to find that spawn. He's going to flip things on its head. Now Northwood should have the better attention to this hill, and they're going to be able to reinforce this again and again.
But they're staying strong inside the hill, and that kill, at least, it slows things down. Now they can try to start to bring it back here if you're Minnesota, but it just does not seem to matter. Northwood, they're a little bit too strong. I say that, but Y-Dog, he was able to find another one. So, again, it's just another one of those hills that we've seen so far throughout this game where both teams consistently able to just reinforce this hill over and over again. And we really did think that Northwood had the stronger side there, but Minnesota, once again, they break the spawns, they get the side they want, and it should be Minnesota once again coming out on top.
I apologize for that. Y-Dog just hit the nastiest shot punch, and I actually choked on my water. Bamf now looking to play for this backside as the Turtle Hill is going to be popping. A 40-point lead for Minnesota. Very attainable for Northwood to crawl back into this one, especially fighting from Temple. They can back Minnesota up inside that back spawn that they're holding on to, and things could get out of hand. However, the break from Minnesota, it's good, it's solid, it's overwhelming, and the pressure can't be handled.
And again, just another big break for Minnesota. It's kind of crazy. We don't normally see this many breaks come through on Apocalypse, but that Turtle Hill, one of the easier hills to be able to break on in. And if Minnesota was able to break hills 2 and 3 as easily as they were, I don't know why we should be surprised at all to see the break come in there. And that spawn is so interesting. Not something that we normally expect to see, but Northwood, they'll get the spawn on the left-hand side of the map, and this actually works out perfectly for them here. Yes, they're kind of losing in time right now, but now with the chance to be able to get the spawns on the left-hand side, they can try to rotate and get into the new hill.
Give him the hands, Alec. Just show him. You got what it takes too here. A whole 50-point lead plus for Minnesota going into this last hill of the rotations. They're going to be the first ones here again, but banging on their doorsteps. It's going to be Northwood. They get the spawn in the back too, so they're going to be able to pinch this with the player advantage. Back into this hill for the 50 seconds. Noah around the trenches. Great trade from K-Top. The bait and switch for Northwood. It's a full wipe.
Neither team can hold on to a spawn right now to save their lives.
Possible.
I've never seen Apocalypse hardpoint like this one here, Colin, throughout this first set of rotations. And this hill is absolutely Northwood's chance now to bring themselves right back into this game. It was looking so good for Minnesota through the first half. So many breaks into their favor. But as the second kind of half of the first set of rotations broke down, it has really been a lot of Northwood being able to bring themselves right back into this game. Minnesota will get the break, though, towards the later half of this hill. And, I mean, this last kill here for Y-Dog, this should give them the last 15 seconds here for Minnesota. But look at those spawns once again. Look where Northwood is. They're on that right-hand side of the map. They can try to pinch these players and stick them into their spawns.
Well, spawn challenge impossible. Unless you're Northwood this time around. You're going to find Spear up on that rotation. K-Top going to have a foot in this hill right away. Closest player is going to be Noah Rue. They spot him out. They shut him down. Now Minnesota's going to be attacking this with that disadvantage. So they're going to have to be careful on their approach. As they're walking into a deadly crossfire, Y-Dog is going to go the high road. Find Smitzy, looking the wrong way, but not able to have any help through this. It's a great cleanup from Northwood. Now a chance to pull this back. They can tie us up here.
They absolutely can tie us up, and not only tie us up, but let's not forget about where the next hill goes to and where Slushy is getting pushed off of right now. And that hill can 100% be a full 60 if a team's able to hold on to it the right way. And a perfect kind of sense of direction change from the likes of Northwood. They were sitting in the middle of the map. They heard the call out from Slushy come in saying, hey, I've got 3 pushing me. Everybody on Northwood turns around. They push back up towards the right-hand side. They want to get back on these spawns. They hold on strong. Yes, the lead continues to stay in Minnesota's favor, but it doesn't matter when you're able to be in hold of P2.
Up goes Y-Dog. It's actually going to be Noah, the hero of this town. He's got the backup too. Bamf for the break. Now Northwood going to be on the re-aggress. Can they break this? Because I know we've been struggling with that from either side of this. But if you hold on to the rest of this, I mean, 190 doesn't seem too bad on a map like Apocalypse.
What is this APOC?
Right for the front. Y-Dog gets pressured out. Now they're going to start this whole flood through the back end. The bench is going to be very, very thin. But here comes the pressure. K-Top finds 2. The break from Noah, not gonna be overwhelmed just yet. He's got backup. Alex gonna find him. Noah's still alive. Finally cleaned up. Northwood, they get the time, but I mean, 15 seconds. Was it worth it?
In 2 hills on P2 so far, we have seen 5 breaks come through. That is absolutely ridiculous, as Minnesota immediately broke Northwood's hold that we thought looked so strong to start that off. But nonetheless, we continue to hope for a hold to come in for one of these 2 teams as Northwood makes the rotation over towards Stilts. They're the first team here. They're able to get into the hill, but instantly broken once again. Minnesota finds a 4-man pinch, but it's still Northwood in favor of the spawns. They can try to reinforce this early.
Slushy is so annoying. He does the same thing he did last time, and it pays off. This time around, though, Minnesota, they're going to react to it, and they're going to realize what happened in backline and actually hold this very well. Northwood, they have to be scared a little bit here. They're going to have to get into the sail. K-Top's going to be close to 1. No, the shots are good. Minnesota, they're holding on to the rest of this. It's almost a full 60, Jesse.
I don't know how they're doing it. Minnesota continues to try to build this lead up, and it seems to be the more contest-heavy hills right now that Minnesota is starting to get their advantages on. Now masking that 200-point mark, putting them 50 seconds away from being able to close this game out for themselves here. But as we look to rotate over towards the Turtle Hill, it's going to be a 4 down now for the likes of Northwood. They are in control of the spawns for the next 2 hills as well. So if they can start to put a little bit of pressure on this and not allow Minnesota to get a break here, this is Northwood's chance to really come back in and maybe even secure the win.
It does. 174 to 208. Here comes the break from Minnesota. 2 kills go the way, though. Up Northwood, you have a foot into the hill, and Noah finds 2! It's a big break from Minnesota. Now Northwood in a disarray. They got to get back to this hill. And yes, Minnesota, they can't win on this hill, but they can get damn close. Jesse, here comes the swing from Northwood. They're going to be falling as they walk through the choke, and this is a good time for Minnesota. They're going to get about 2 points to the victory, and they get the flip.
Look at the spawn. I thought the exact same thing at you as the same time as everybody on Minnesota spawns up in the bottom left-hand side of the map. They're still holding on to old time as well as they continue with the tab. They're inside the hill. All the rotational battles now going on. Go towards Northwood. They absolutely needed to win those gunfights because now Minnesota, without being broken on the last hill, 6 seconds away from being able to put it away. They're one break away from winning this one.
Northwood might have just fumbled the bag, but they got to dig deep for this win. 190 to 244. Can they go flawless in this last hill? You look at those blue arrows. They're going to be surrounding this pressure. Still the kill is going for the Northwood. Slushy finds the extension. Is going to wrap around for 2. The cleanup in the backline. However, no one comes to the rescue. These last couple players inside the hill, they got to go up for these kills. As you can see, Minnesota 2 on either side of this hill. And Smitsy's gonna find 1. The break from Bam. K-Top overwhelmed. There's Minnesota into it. 5 seconds left to take this map number 1 around the hard point. Northwood can't touch. Minnesota find Apocalypse.
And we said it when we came into this one that these two teams are so evenly matched, and you saw it right there throughout that entire first game. It was just break after break after break. Neither team really able to solidly get a good hold throughout this entire game, but somehow, some way, Northwood University, they come away with the game 1 victory.
They come away with the game 1, something we were very skeptical about. And I know Apocalypse is one of those maps that can go either way, Jesse, but when you look at Northwood, the fact that they were able to win it last time and they bring it into this veto as well, you have to be thinking that they were really confident going into that, but just nobody could hold a damn hill. What was happening?
And by mistake, it was Minnesota that won that game. I don't know why I said Northwood at the end there, but
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now. We're still that mind boggled that there was that many breaks in that game. We're so used to watching Apocalypse hardpoint and Apocalypse just be over and over again. Hey, full 60 my way, full 60 your way, full 60 my way. Back to you. You get a full 60. It's like Ellen DeGeneres out here. You get a full 60. You get a full 60. This time through, it was just break after break, and I mean, it threw me off so bad I don't even know who wins the map. But Minnesota State University, they come out, they're able to close it out, and now we look to head on towards the rest of the series. You have a Moscow S&D coming up next. It is a complete different pace of change of play going in towards this game from that first hill.
Now you slow it down. Search and Destroy, completely different game mode than a hardpoint in general. Is there going to be very favored into one of these teams? I think Northwood is definitely going to have a chance to pull this one back going into the second map. Moscow, we saw it in our last series. It went the distance to around 11, and what was the case? Is teams were having trouble with the attacking side. Now, when you're kind of comparing and contrasting this series to the last one, do you expect to see a difference in that, or what do you want to see change to make that difference in attack?
Well, I mean, you got to think that it really kind of comes down to being more two-dimensional with your attack hits. In that last series, we really saw both teams kind of just hitting towards A site, and just that's all we're going to do. We hit A, and we just kind of push everybody forward. This time, I think with the kind of the skill level of these two teams that we have coming into this one, I really got to think that we're going to see some very different hits coming in here. Maybe a couple mid hits, maybe a couple fake hits over towards the B site, wrap the bomb over towards A. And once you get hits like that coming in, it really keeps your opponent guessing, keeps them on their toes. You really don't know which way they're going to want to go with the bomb. And that's really when you can start to really find a few players on rotations, just find those little openings that can help you win those rounds of search and destroy. Because let's not forget, you only get one life in S&D. You got to make it count every single round to be able to close those rounds out.
You got to look for those dang lurking players too, because constantly, who was it? It was Alistro in that last series who just constantly was hitting that flank around those attacker spawns, and you need to see somebody watching that. And I think that's where you're going to see a lot of versatility come out of these two teams. Like you say, you want to see the rotations from A to B. Escalator's a brilliant connector from going from site to site, and it's very quick if you can make that rotation on a whim. I think definitely you want to start seeing that out of these two teams, because it will start to make this defensive setup be a lot more thin. inside where they are going to be setting up their players, because you're going to have to need to flex some players over around the map if this in the case that these attackers are taking different avenues. So really, this is Northwood's chance to flex their brain, show what they have to bring in Moscow. And what did we see in our series last time? It was a B hit right away. I'd love to see an attacking team swing out the gates with a B hit. I think it would be a great way to open up this map.
We say that all the time, and then we get it finally in our last series, and then unfortunately it was a B hit, and it was a stomping through that first round. They just got completely bullied off that site. So, you know, maybe we might be wrong, Colin. Maybe it's all about those A hits early on. Maybe teams, maybe they know what they're doing, and casters might just be wrong in this one. But nonetheless, when you're looking at this, I love the point that you bring up with the fact that there's probably going to be an annoying player kind of trying to make that push around, trying to get into those flanks like we saw in our last series. And when I'm looking at these two teams, and you're looking at really who might be that player to do it, and for me, it's got to be Slushy. We saw it in that first game. He was constantly in the back of Minnesota. Yes, Northwood don't close out that map, but Slushy really was that guy for Northwood that was making those big flank plays, coming around, constantly shooting the other team in the back. So you got to think he's probably going to be that player, trying to sneak his way through middle of the map, trying to get in behind the opposing team, because this really is one of those Call of Duty maps that is a nice 3-lane map. You know exactly what you want to do. It's just a matter of shutting down the plays and not allowing them to be able to kind of come through and happen. When you're looking overall at these two teams as well, Northwood sitting at 8-1 in Search and Destroy, Minnesota sitting at 7-2. The last time these two teams played, it was a 6-4 win for the likes of Northwood on Search and Destroy on a Miami map. So very, very different map, though, going into this one.
Even in Apocalypse, I mean, nobody really turned around to check for that Slushy flank the second time around. The exact same thing happened.
So breaks. That's all I
remember. There's a good chance we might see that. Let's check out this map. It's raid.
All right, the notes are out the window. We're heading to raid for map 2, not for map 5. But nonetheless, it looks like Y-Dog's going to push forward. He gets this bomb down over towards the B site, and we know how strong of a position this can be over towards B. We were talking about the B hits on Moscow. We got to see a B hit round number 1 nonetheless.
Ooh, the nade, the follow-up K-Top opens this retake up. Time against Northwood here, so they got to get into the site. That's going to be a troublesome one, but they take care of the bedroom player. They find Noah. One last player left is Spear Up, who's watching that flank. In fact, doesn't have an eye on this bomb. K-Top's going to flood into that backline, finds him, and put Northwood on the map.
Huge wins from Northwood there as they're able to close that out and be able to win that round. And I mean, that's normally such a tough spot to be in. Once you get in those back positionings, you're able to get back up into top bedroom. But nonetheless, it does not seem to matter. They're able to close that out for themselves, and they're able to win the round out.
It was a great opportunity for Minnesota to get that bomb set up, play that player into the bedroom, but some good shots out of Northwood to just dethrone that whole setup for the post plant. And now you flip the tables here. Northwood on the attack. What are we going to see off the break? Oh, a rush down mid. Looking for that courtyard pressure. Y-Dog has to give it up right away, and he's going to be calling for backup immediately. You look at those blue arrows. Looking to suffocate them out through this kitchen break. Noah's going to shut them down. Shuts the door on 3. You find Alex in the back when the Diamante might not take him down. He's got the teammates to do that. A quick round from Minnesota.
And Minnesota just answers back. They said, hey, you know what? We shouldn't have lost that round number 1. They absolutely knew it. So this time through, they just say, hey, you know what? Come at us with your mid push. We see your mid push, and we answer you back with a mid very strong hold. And they don't allow anything to come through from Northwood into the middle of the map, and they just shut that down completely. And now you got to be looking at Noah on 3 in a row, possibly looking to try to find some streaks here. First round, we saw Minnesota State. They went towards the B bomb. This time through, they're going to go towards A with it. And, I mean, you've got a lot of players over here right now for Northwood as well. They might just be able to shut down this push.
Y-Dog with the bomb. K-Top extremely low. Is the follow-up going to be there? Oh, he's so sneaky in the back. But Slushy's going to fall in. I don't think they realized K-Top was the one that took all that heat. Finally, they're going to clean him up. That's 2 off the board for Northwood. That should be bombed down now, especially when Alex is going to fall in that position. Smitsy's got to be the hero for Northwood, and they have him checked.
This Minnesota State team, man. I mean, they are looking dangerous right now. After that map number 1, closing it out, and then you head into map number 2. Yeah, you lose round number 1. let's be honest, they probably shouldn't have lost that round number 1. They got caught out kind of a little bit, lose a few gunfights they probably shouldn't have lost, but since then they dominate round number 2. Round number 3 comes out, and it's another very clean round here for the likes of Minnesota. And I mean, if they can keep up this type of pace of play and keep finding kills constantly like this, that's 2 clean rounds in a row. Northwood, yeah, I mean, you're going to need to find an answer very quickly here to stop this team.
This time on attack, they're going to go to A. Not the quick dash in the middle. Slushy's going to find that first blood on Noah. Spear up, has to give up Laundry. That's A control now to the Wolves. Can they get this bomb planted? Well, before that, it looks like they want to really make sure Laundry's cleared out, just so that nobody slips in behind and drops that bomb. So this bomb's going to go down. You have the post-plant set up. Here's one. In and out. That's a big one to trade, but still, Northwood, they find that advantage. So this collapse from Minnesota, it is going to be 1 player down. Slushy watching the back. He's running right into this. He knows they line up for him, or at least one's going to line up for him. Now 1v3 for Spear Up. He's on the chase. Right and around. Slushy tucked into the corner. Spear Up's able to find him now, making it a 1v2, but the players putting him in check. Northwood answer back.
And that's a big round needed from the Northwood players. They get that bomb down early on, and I mean, once that bomb player count, once the bomb planter goes down, it kind of looks like the round might start to fall apart, but they're able to kind of slow it down, find the kills, don't allow Northwood to really set up a good pinch around the rest of the map. That's really what closes it out there for the likes of the Northwood players. They get to shut it down. Now, looking towards the rest of this round, Minnesota State, they've gone towards B, they've gone towards A. The B site did not seem to work out for them in that first round there, but the bomb, it's going to go back towards B, and actually, the player Y-Dog, he's by himself over towards the site right now, and if they get aggressive on here, he might be able to find a first kill off stream, and he absolutely does, and he gets away with his life.
And Noah finds the second. K-Top gets absolutely worked through the courtyard. Now Northwood again, they have to fight back from a disadvantage of 2. Alex in a 1v3 now. Things falling apart here for your orange squad. But Alex has snuck his way into Art. He's going to double back. A chance to get that bomb down, but doesn't check him. The information is going to be there. Now Minnesota, they know exactly where to look. This bomb's going to get planted. Post plant, it's going to be Sublime. And not much Alex can do here with this 74U. Looking to at least make a dent out of these Minnesota players. Has recovered the crate too, but a lot of heat to take and too many shots to handle.
In Minnesota, I mean, it was a very early round advantage that they were able to take throughout that round, and it was really Y-Dog. He finds that first blood off-site, honestly, like playing by himself completely with the bomb. He finds the first blood and gets away with his life, and then kind of just opened up the middle of the map for the rest of the Minnesota players to be able to get out, find a few more picks, and really start to open up the round. And once they got that 3-1 lead, it was kind of just a pack-and-dog mentality. You just play together, find the trades if you need to. Now Northwood back on offense. The first time we're seeing them head over towards this B bomb site, but there are 2 players over towards this site, at least for Minnesota, that can start to make some noise over here. And as soon as they spot the players are coming on in, that's when the rotation comes over, and you can see everybody on Minnesota State, they're starting to make that rotation over. And Y-Dog finds the first blood.
Brilliant out of Minnesota State. They get the trophies out of play, and they just stack that bomb site with nades. Now the bomb's down for Northwood in a very uncomfortable situation. They have to push this aggression in, not only get this bomb planted, but they're going to have to take a few gunfights before they do so. And it's all up to Alex, really, because Slushy's watching their back. Alex is going to fall 1v4. Minnesota State looking for the flawless here. And now that they know where Slushy is, you said it before, pack-a-dog mentality. Well, look at the minimap. They are hunting for this player.
So she's just going to try to jump off the map, but not going to jump off in time as he still gets shut down just from the back. We're going to see a replay of it here. He knew he had no chance of winning this round. He said, yeet, I'm going to get out of here. And Y-Dog said, not today. He said, get over here. It's time to drop to the likes of my gun.
Here.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. And honestly, Colin, I think that was what, the 4th flawless round, maybe the 3rd. Flawless round that we've seen from Minnesota so far here in this game. It just feels like when they're winning these rounds right now, it is coming in and they're just not only winning them, but also dominating them in that team nade. Oh, that scared me so bad. I thought we were about to see some shades of last week when we saw the early team nade on raid search and destroy, but not going to be the case. Northwood, they're still going to try to push up, and they get dropped again. First blood going back into the state of Minnesota.
The nerves, Jesse. The nerves are getting to Northwood right now. Now these 3 players, they need to retake this A side, and they have 2 on the flank, so if Mammoth catches the ball, Northwood might have their opening, but he's going to hold strong, find 1, keep that player advantage. So even though Northwood finds this right, this bomb is planted. His post plants are just going to favor Minnesota. Nonetheless, look at Noah. He's hitting that wrap. Alex has no idea he's behind him, but these sites are going to be dangerous on top of them. White Dog's going to follow 1v1 on site. Smitzy versus Noah. 25 seconds left on this bomb. Noah's ready for this. He's only the close angle. Smitzy has no idea. Minnesota, they keep the ball rolling.
Oof.
Map point.
That round got a little bit close to the Minnesota wanted. Definitely not one of the flawlesses that we've seen earlier on, but Noah, he was able to close it out. This 1v1, he just kind of sits here, holds the angle. He knew Smitzy was on his left, and honestly, he's taking kind of a bit of a risky play there, just holding one angle, not kind of checking multiple things, because Smitzy really could have made a push back in through art, maybe tried to make a flank play, knowing the position of where Noah was originally, but it just doesn't matter. Noah holds the right angle. He finds the last kill. He's on 5 in a row, and like you said, puts Minnesota State now on a map point, trying to go up 2-0 here in the series, and it's going to be a Northwood 4-man push through the middle of the map. We saw this in round number 2. It didn't work out for them. Maybe it might work out a little bit better here.
Alex finds Mammoth. That's a good start this time around. Now, inside money, Wyandotte gives it away. K-Top could slide on in here, but instead he's going to flex around into the back line where Noah's waiting and lie. 2 players down. Bomb gets planted, but here comes Spear up on the flank. 1v3. To keep Northwood alive here on Raid Search and Destroy, and his back is going to be caught to his enemy. Minnesota have turned up the dial today.
Minnesota State University, let's not play these guys on Raid Search and Destroy. So many rounds come away with just them barely losing lives, and a 6-2 very dominant victory here for themselves here throughout this game. And I mean, if you're Northwood University right now, you need to hit the hard reset. Map number 1 doesn't go your way. It kind of felt like Minnesota was always in control of that map. Map number 2, absolutely the same way. It kind of just felt like Northwood. What did they win the first round? I can't remember if they won the first round. I feel like they did. I think it was Minnesota that dropped the ball round number 1. They were in that powerful position up in the top bedroom. But ever since that round, it just kind of felt like everything that Minnesota did, it was just the right thing to do at the right time, and they were able to just shut down Northwood over and over again.
And sometimes you need to see in Search and Destroy. Those mid-map adjustments are so strong in this game mode. You can see that Minnesota State, MNAU, they turned up the dial, like I said, and Northwood, they just haven't been able to step up to the plate today. I mean, this is a playoff spot on the line. These playoffs are the rest of your Cold War season for Collegiate Call of Duty. So Northwood, if they want to stay alive here, it's got to start here for the reverse sweep. Checkmate control. It's going to be a tough one. I mean, we just saw it in our previous series. That map 3, it can be very punishing if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, and it really could be. Checkmate control. Last time we saw these 2 teams play on Checkmate control was a Northwood University map win, actually, and it was a 3-2 map win. So we talked about it before. It's very likely that whoever ended up getting that last defense on this map was able to close it out. Obviously, we don't know the full 100%. It could have been an offensive win in that final round. You never know. Sometimes it does happen, but more likely than not, it was a defensive round win. So that's something we really got to kind of keep our eye on going in towards this last little bit. Can Northwood pull it out? Can they start to bring themselves back to this game? Because you got to think a raid hard point, not the worst thing for them to go into next, and then an express search and destroy to kind of close it out. There's a chance here with Northwood. They got to find a way. They got to start to kind of keep up with this lane in Minnesota because it's kind of been one-sided so far.
It's the same exact win condition that we saw in our last series when into this map 3. Your ARs have to step up, and your submachine guns have to take the space that they're given. And how many times did we see a life advantage get thrown out of the window last time around? If Northwood gets put into that same situation, I need to start seeing them turn up that dial exactly like Minnesota State, MNAU have been doing in this whole exact series. Folks, this is the number 3 seed versus the number 2 seed. And the number 3 seed is up 2-0 right now, looking to upset Northwood. And Jesse, one more map. Do you think they could do it here?
I mean, I called it. I said I thought Minnesota were going to come out and take the fight to Northwood today, and we kind of said it going in our green room before we got on stream today. You were really on Northwood's side. I was really like, I don't know. I think Minnesota has a chance today, and you know what? we've also both said that we thought this series was going to go the distance. So it's definitely not over yet. I might be getting a little bit too confident in myself over here right now. But Minnesota's looking good, man. It's going to be very, very tough for Northwood to come back in. I know some people say that they don't think momentum is a thing, but I hate to disagree. But I absolutely think that momentum can play a very, very heavy factor in a series, especially like this. Once you have Minnesota kind of coming out, they barely win map number 1. They smoke on map number 2. You got to think that's going to give them a lot of confidence going into map number 3.
Yeah, you have to imagine. I really think that Minnesota State of Mankato, they're here to play, and they're here to make sure that that last loss to Northwood, it was a fluke. I think this 2-0 just shows exactly what we've been setting up the storylines for this whole series, or the whole season, is we want to see growth out of these teams. Well, this is first-hand growth right out of Minnesota State. I love what I'm seeing out of this roster, and if checkmate is what's standing in between them and a sweep right now, I think you're right. Momentum is going to play a big part of it. We saw it all year in Cold War. That momentum was a tricky thing. Not a lot of teams could bounce back in this game. And this is going to be a tough one for Northwood. I think checkmate is definitely going to be a place where we're going to see them struggle.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Like, yeah, they've already taken this map off Minnesota, so you got to think that this is going to give them a little bit of confidence going into it. But just the fact of how strong Minnesota has looked today can't be easy. And I mean, talking about strong, you got to talk about Noah right now, kind of leading the way all day long so far here for Minnesota State. And if he's able to close it out and kind of really pick up and keep the same pace going that he was playing with in those first 2 maps, this is going to be a very tough map for Northwood.
Already a good start to this game number 3. Off the break off, it's a 25-23 life advantage for Minnesota State. On this defending side, you can see that these ARs are set up on this power position, looking to take these gunfights to allow Noah to get to control the plane. And speaking of planes, we're going to see the fight. Trade's going through. Noah splits the difference. On the A side, it's going to be Alex, but surrounded by sharks. Looking to come up swimming. Slushy to back him up, and still alive, barely breathing. Northwood holding on to A with dear life. Jesse working on that second tick. They are going to have reinforcements. That second tick impression is going to be here. Noah's going to get caught on the rotation. A site's gone.
It's exactly what Northwood needs. They come out, dominate through that first hill, and they're actually able to find 2 kills in succession over towards the second. They can just try to stack this point. I don't know why all 3 don't hop onto it, because that probably could have been 2 ticks of progress done before anybody on Minnesota State could have gotten anywhere close to that. But I don't even think it matters right now. Second tick of progress is going to come through, but they still only have 1 person on it at the moment. They need to stack this hill with how far away these players are spawning. It just doesn't seem to matter, though. Everybody's just going to fall for Minnesota State anyways, and this should be the round done. But it gets contested last second.
Oh, no. Is there a chance for Minnesota to stay alive? It looked electric out of Northwood, but...
Oh, I threw the towel in too early, Colin.
From the grave. Yeah, you did. You really did. You got to learn sometimes. It's not over until it's over.
It was looking so good.
Until it gets capped. Working for this plane control. K-Top knows 2 players are going to be here. Bamman plays on the outside. Is going to find that trade. Noah doubles down. Northwood again set back to their spawn.
Oh, no. And we saw this in our last series as well. Once the defense kind of got control of things and was able to put this spawn trap on, this is where the offense can really start to get into some trouble. And the spawn trap, it's absolutely been engaged here. Minnesota State, they've got the position they want on the map. They've got the life lead now. Time only ticking into their favor. Northwood, they need to find a way to break out of this so they can get onto the hill and stop the clock and start to get that tick of progress going back up.
9 lives to 8. Northwood fighting at a small disadvantage, but at this point of the game, the disadvantage it's going to be very large. Smithy is a long route. Is going to find 1, but close by is a teammate from Minnesota. The wraparound spear. Oh, I thought he was going to have that, but the hands, they're too good out of Northwood. He gets a nice right hook, and here's a follow-up from Northwood to get onto the site. No respawns, though. This is going to be tough. Y-Dog on that top plane is going to find Smitzy. Doesn't even have to drop down. He's got teammates to do that for him. K-Top has to make a dash to this point. Alex nowhere close to them. Very disconnected. Minnesota State, they hold on, and they find the round somehow.
I mean, I'll tell you exactly how they won that round, Colin. It comes down to simply a mistake from Northwood. They didn't stack the hill. They had so many opportunities to stack the hill. Is that what you thought I was going to say?
Yeah, it's exactly what I thought.
They did not stack the hill, and I mean, I called for it twice throughout that round where they had a 4 down or a 3 down, and they absolutely had every chance in the world to stack the hill, and they just don't. And yes, you get into some powerful positions, but once you lose those gunfights in those powerful positions, it opens up routes for the Minnesota players to get through. I thought they did just enough to close it out, but they just didn't. Minnesota, they found the wrap. They were able to get in behind, shoot 2 players in the back, get them off the hill, and shut down that final tick of progress. And then once that tick of progress doesn't come through, they get the 4 down, they're able to push all the way through. And just once that spawn trap gets engaged, it is so tough to break out of it.
Minnesota State of Mikado. They come back in that first round, something we saw time and time again in our last series. Look at the setup from Northwood. Actually, player number 3, K-Top, all the way deep in enemy territory. This is interesting, the fact that they're able to slip through the cracks this early. They're going to clean up on Alex, but here comes K-Top, we're good for 2. On the escape, just being a nuisance at this point as providing a lot of control for the rest of the teammates of Northwood to progress into this site. Like, you know, clean up Spear Up, and Missouri, Minnesota really needs to start cleaning up. That's some good timing onto K-Top. Smitsy's going to follow. There's the exit strategy now from Northwood, but stopped again. Slushy this time. Picking up the mantle.
Yeah, Northwood's in a good spot in this round. They have exactly the setup they want right now, where they can continue just to try to pin these Minnesota State Mikado players in towards the back. And yes, only 30 seconds left, but I mean, we've seen weirder things happen. We've seen bigger breaks come through on this map mode combo. Y-Dog will touch the hill, gets shut down immediately though.
Hey, I've seen bigger things happen. I was watching that last round. Bigger things have happened already into this one. Mammoth off the top ropes is going to be good for 1. Stops the clock at 13 now. Progression at A. Alex is going to clean this one up. Can't find the trade out. It's going to be K-Top having to flood on in, find a few kills their way. Looking to clean up around this point before he gets to that A side. Slushy, good for a second one. Northwood picking them apart 1 by 1. The nade's going to drop Spear Up really low. Smitzy for the follow-up on his own. 3 go down. The break from Northwood might have been the savior for this whole round, Jesse, as Y-Dog looking to stop this clock again for the late round effort here, and that's just enough! And Y-Dog's gonna follow, so K-Top keeping his team alive in this one. Northwood not yet giving up the round. They go right back in. It was a valiant effort out of Y-Dog, but just not enough.
If he could have just laid down and stayed alive for a few more seconds, it might have just given them enough time to get back into it, but he was stuck in crouch and just not able to do it there. And I mean, this huge play from K-Top at the end not only finds the first and the second, but also switches to the Diamatti and finds the third at the very end of the round to close it out for Northwood, bring them right back into this game. And so far, so good. Defense holding strong through 2 rounds of control.
Back on the attack now. Northwood, they were close last time. They just fumbled the bag. You already told them why. Let's see if they can fix it. This break off, similar to the last one, they're going to walk into plane and they're going to get sent home on a no-fly zone.
You got to be careful here if you're Northwood. And they find the player that I was kind of reiterating that with Mammoth. They find him in the back. They don't allow that spawn trap to get put in, because once they got put in that spawn trap in the first round, they had a very, very tough time breaking out of it. Lost a lot of lives to it, and that's really where the round started to fall apart for them here. But back onto the A site, back to the same strat as last round. They go for A first, try to get it done, then they try to rotate it over to B after.
This time around, they don't have as many players dedicated to A as they did last time, so it's able to get Minnesota back into this before that tick even got captured. So Smitzy and Slushy looking to work their way into the site. Alex now the last one up, and Minnesota State, they handle business. Makota come into play. They don't want to drop checkmate. They don't want to lose this round. They want to maintain their advantage, which they've held onto this whole series. With 29 seconds left, this is where things are going to get dicey if you're a Northwood fan.
And with those 3 kills coming in there, you got to think that Minnesota State are putting themselves in a situation where they're putting this game into their own hands. They will have 2 chances, very likely, at closing this one out, unless something from Northwood happens where they can get on and they can cap one of these zones with 6 seconds left. But I don't think it's looking super likely here. Although a few kills do go their way, Noah still is that player in the back line, though, for the Minnesota State Mikado players, and it's going to be very, very tough to be able to close this round out with 1.7 seconds left.
Oh, the stick. But it's just not enough. Stick or no stick, there is no win. Northwood, they dropped the round again. A lot more convincing this time around. You see the changes at a Minnesota State of Makota. They do it again. We've been seeing it all series long. They just get better and better as the rounds progress, Jesse.
They do, but this last offense for them, they got absolutely dominated. Northwood won that defense, and they won it by a good margin here. Minnesota State, if they want to be able to take this offense here, they need to find a way to kind of push through the plane, get a little bit more submachine gun pressure onto that A site, because I felt like the last round, it was only ARs that were trying to hold the site, and they were just getting kind of overwhelmed by submachine gun pressure on it. So if they can maybe get an SMG onto site, maybe that's when they can try to get one of these sites down a little easier.
Getting a little bit of deja vu. K-Top's already in the spawn of Minnesota State of Makota. However, this time that Minnesota State, they have the exit to the bottom of the minimap, and you still have Y-Dog in the spawn of Northwood. So a lot more damage this time being done by Minnesota. And you see that Northwood are able to deal with it. Now, this is a chance for K-Top to really turn up in his position. He's going to find Noah on that exit. Snap back around to the spawn. And I like this. He's just looking to burn the time, just like he did last time.
It's not Vanguard. He can't shoot through all that wood. He gets away with his life. Now everybody in Northwood just trying to push forward now. They want to shut these players down before they can do anything off spawn, and it's exactly the right strategy to use. And they are doing it picture perfect right now. Nobody on Minnesota State is able to get anywhere comfortable throughout this game. And I'm trying to think right now, with only 20 seconds left, trying to think of who might be able to get this final defense and who it's going to go to. But I mean, Northwood was able to get 3 ticks of progress through their first round, but you got to think that it's probably going to be Northwood that gets the final defense if it's based off of just progression ticks.
That might be enough to get them to a map number 4, because they've just looked so strong here. Alex again shuts them down on the cross. 2-2. We got a map 5 or round 5, folks, here in Checkmate Control. As this series, it might be leaning towards one side, but Northwood, they are not giving up without a fight, let me tell you that. As constantly, Alex and K-Top have been the nuisance, the thorn in the backside of Minnesota State of Makota. You can see, Jesse, you were right. Northwood on the defensive side.
Yeah, and they've looked strong on defense. Very strong so far. Minnesota State Makata, they got to find a way to just break out of this, and they're going to do something different off the rip here. Instead of going towards that A site, they're going to send 3 players, 2 through the middle of the plane, 1 underneath the plane, just to try to throw these players on Northwood off a little bit, but it's very much the same off the rip. It's just going to be a lot of trades down the middle of the map, and a whole lot of map control now as Noah finds 2, and they're going to wrap it right over to A.
I don't know how he physically did that.
I don't know what line he found to get through there either.
If the perfect one, but so did Northwood. Only giving up a take right now. Back into the hill. Bammoth still alive, expecting the pre-fire. But instead, it's going to be K-Top who took to the plains to clear that hill. Once again, only giving up a tick towards A, Jesse. Minimizing the damage that Minnesota State were able to get off of that brilliant break from Noah. 23-22, looking to lead his team to another victory here. K-Top again, he's in the back line. What a nuisance, what a rat here. Can he find a second one? He cannot. Bammoth's able to clean him up now. Over to B and A goes Minnesota State of Makota. But Noah's going to cut on the rotation, and that's going to force Y-Dog to take matters into his own hand. Getting pinched out here. Smitzy already damage done, and he's able to clean it up.
Try to get back onto A, though. It's going to be Spire by himself over on this site, and it's just not enough. Everybody on Northwood, it's another full shutdown here. 30 seconds left, and the spawn trap, it's once again engaged here. Northwood, they get it done exactly how they want, and now Minnesota State, they've struggled with it all game long. They need to find a way to break out of this.
Smitzy now to take up where K-Top left off. There's only 11 seconds, Jesse, and look at this. Another one picks up with the last one left. K-Top's going to be rushing from side to side, looking to pick up these players as they flood on into A, walking into the crossfire. Then Northwood are looking to shut them down. Here comes K-Top from behind. The Diamante in hand, cleans up one, finds the second one. Northwood University, they're going to send us to a map 4.
And again, it's a 3-2 victory, just closing it out for Northwood University, but they are now 2 for 2 going up against Minnesota State University. Mankata on this game mode, on this map mode combo, and it's very likely that that last series closed out exactly the way this one did, where it was just you head towards that map number 3, whoever gets that final defense, and it was just Northwood who did just enough in their first offense. They got 5 ticks of progression, were never able to close it out, but those extra 2 ticks they got, it was just that little bit extra that gave them the kick over Minnesota to get that final defense, and it really helped them close that game out to give themselves that first map win on the board. Now they can slowly start to climb their way back as we look to head over towards right hard point.
Folks, you can put your brooms away. It's not going to be a sweep here in game number 2. Northwood stay alive to see another hard point. We got raid coming up over the break. When we come back, more action for the NACE Starleague. Welcome back, everybody. We got the University of Northwood staying alive here in game number 2 for the NACE Starleague tonight. Minnesota State Mikado, they started off so strong, Jesse, but what was it in that control that threw them off?
Oh, I mean, it was offense. They just weren't able to take an offense in that control at all. And Northwood getting 2 rounds or getting 2 ticks of progress on the B site in that first round, it really was what kind of closed it out for them. And honestly, Minnesota looked like they might have been able to take one of their offenses early on, but it just wasn't enough. Northwood University just constantly piled on the pressure on defense, kept putting Minnesota State Mikado back in towards that spawn trap. And it really was what kind of took it away. So now if you're Northwood University, you need to kind of pick up and pile on from that progress, continue to try to snowball that heading in towards this raid hardpoint. We saw in that first hardpoint, it was very close. It was constant breaks back and forth, especially on Money Hills. And heading towards raid, I mean, we know that hills 2, 3, and 4 can really be hills that teams can lock down a lot of time. I'm very curious to see if we're going to see much of the same, if we're going to see a break after break after break, or if we're going to finally start to see some solid holds out of these two teams.
You know, oftentimes we talk about that rotation battle that happens right off the bat. Not too worried if you don't get the less preferred side. That hill number 2, not too bad to fight from the front line. What a shot from Slushy to open this one up. Instant trade, so this is going to be even. On the board right now in the ring, it's K-Top again. You saw him in that last game. He was such a nuisance. This time around, cleaned up like it's nothing. And look at Y-Dog on the flank. He's fine. Slushy able to double down with his teammate. And it's a beautiful start from Minnesota State of Makota.
I mean, I don't think you could ask for a better start. Not only do they get the break in a lot of early time, but they get the spawn flip as well. Now holding onto the left-hand side, mini-map spawns. But you got to be worried about the rest of the players on Northwood. They're trying to make the flank in from the back. You actually lose the spawns in the hill as well. So everybody now on Northwood, they can push forward and just try to trap these two players on the Minnesota State side. In the back here, it's just Mammoth. He falls as well. So as quickly as they got those spawns, then it was looking so good for Minnesota State. Northwood, they take it right back into their hands.
Look at Y-Dog. Look at all Minnesota State of Makota.
Well, they're going to go for a 4-man hit from the back.
Slushy's got to turn up right now. He's got the spot, but he can't see any of them through the thin little trees. No one's going to catch him off guard. The full break from Minnesota, starting from the back line and breaking through this hill. Northwood cleared out in no time, but luckily off this spawn, they're going to get a chance to retake it from front. The nade's going to come in. Here's the slide for the contention. They find the first, but Noah in behind. Ho-ho! Bamf is able to clean this one up.
Here's the difference between those two break attempts. Minnesota State, they have a lot of time. They can just choose to make the push. They decide to send all 4 players, go through the jungle side of the map, and not just have to push in through the little chokeholds that are the entrances in towards this room. Now the spawn flip will finally come through, and Northwood should be able to get in control of this hill, but with only 13 seconds left, I mean, if you're Minnesota State Makota, you're going to take that. You're going to take that run all the way to the bank with it, and now you head over towards the new hill, and you can just put your full focus on it, get a full setup here as well. I thought Y-Dog was about to finesse his life there as well, but not going to be the case in Minnesota State Makota. They're going to be set up early once again here on the new hill.
This is where you're talking about those money hills. They can really lead you to the promised land. Sierra trades favoring Minnesota. Now with the advantage, you look at the mini-map, the closest player up is going to be player number 5 and 6. Luckily getting those spawns up with the teammates, going 1 for 1 in art. Starting this through, Y-Dog closes the door, and they can't even get into this hill. Alex's last chance, and not a chance at all.
Look at this play from players 2 and 4 on the likes of Minnesota. Everybody, they're just going to push through towards the new hill. Yes, there's only 20 seconds left here on this hill, but if Spyrup can just stay alive and behind this man, finesse his life and stay alive for just a little bit, they can keep holding on to that time. And everybody on Minnesota State Makota, as they spawn up, they're going to spawn towards this new hill. So, I mean, they get the initial 30. They can test for, what, 10 of it towards the back there. So, yeah, you're pretty much only giving up 15 seconds to the likes of Northwood in the last 2 hills, and you can just keep setting up for these new hills over and over again, and it's exactly what we're seeing out of Minnesota State right now.
Spawns for Northwood are going to be inside this lingerie. Mammoth going to be watching the crosshair as you look at the collapse from Northwood. It's going to be looking to pressure up from the top of this mini-map and close in through that spiral staircase. Already taking care of 3. You can see the spawns from Minnesota State and Makota coming through way far away, but Y-Dog takes care of business on the side. Has a little bit of back off down yonder. And Slushy in a crucial 1v1, but he's going to take the outside route, and the rest of Northwood now a chance again at this hill for 30 seconds left. They overwhelm 2. Last one's going to be Spear Up. He's going to find him, and again, it's Mammoth looking to be that hero that this teammate needs. Minnesota State of Makota, they can't clean this one up. Northwood finally getting the break, but again, only for scrap time.
Really feels like that's all Northwood has been given in this game so far. Any chance they get at grabbing any time, it seems to be the last 10-15 seconds of every single hill. Eventually it adds up, but not to the likes of Minnesota, who's grabbing the early 30, early 20 of every single hill before even being contested on most of these hills, it feels like right now. And once again, look who's the first team in the hill. It was Minnesota. They do get dropped out of it pretty quickly, I will say, to start this one off, but it just doesn't seem to matter so far. They just keep getting players. They keep getting people to reinforce into these hills over and over again, and now with 40 seconds left, they start to stabilize here on P5.
Minnesota soaking up this hill, taking their lead to the next level. Northwood flooding on in from either angle. Smitzy finally finds that opening, is able to win the fight on 2. Around the corner, Y-Dog making sure that's uncomfortable and forces his teammate into Spear Up. So well played at a Minnesota State. They get the clear of the site, but not able to get a player inside. Northwood able to reinforce it again. Keep time in their favor. Another 13 seconds or so. And this is going to be a big one because they're putting a lot of emphasis out towards this hill number 1 rotation. It's going to be a big fight for the rotations inside Laundry. Smith's able to find one. The trace to Alex. Slushy's here for the battle. It's brilliant from Northwood.
That was probably Northwood's best transition of map so far. They were able to get the back 40 seconds pretty much on that P5 hill. And not only that, but also make their full rotation over towards this first hill once again. But they will get shut down now. Minnesota State, they were able to kind of set up a bit of a pinch, get in towards that hill, shut down the players on Northwood, and they also hold on to those good side spawns. But we've seen in that first set of rotations, it did not seem to matter who held on to those spawns. They got broken 2 or 3 times through this hill one.
Same thing in Apocalypse, same thing in Raid. I don't expect anything less from these two teams. After the gun show that we got to see in that map number 1, Minnesota State back in control here. Mammoth gonna be overwhelmed and pressured out. On the top ropes, it's Smitzy taking care of business. He's got a little bit of backup now. Northwood keeping this scrap time. And you know what? It's good for Northwood. Off all these scrap time in the hills, they're one good break and one good hold away from taking a lead.
I mean, they easily have, what, almost 90 seconds of their hill time has been coming off of the scrap time. So can't really complain if you're Northwood right now. Just keep grabbing that scrap time until you can finally set yourselves up and get a good hold on one of these hills. And this might just be your chances. You get the break in, you've got the full setup, and you've got Minnesota State and Makata spawning exactly where you want them.
Slushy, again, had trouble back here, but the real trouble is going to be from the front. Noah breaks open this hill, allows Spear Up to get on through inside the case. It's going to be a 2-for-1. Spear Up not able to hold on to this just yet. Looking to stay alive here as long as they can. And Northwood taking their sweet old time to get into that hill. That's 20 seconds you can't get up, but it's going to be a race over to here, hill 3. Look at the arrows north and south right now through the middle of the map in the back. Mammoth is the first one here. Those shots for the Craig are going to be so deadly. Damage them as they pull on in. And you can see those kills going to the favor of Minnesota State and Makota. Finally the break for Northwood, but still on their doorstep. Minnesota are spawning right there. They're able to reaggress back into the hill, but Northwood, they keep their business at that garage, and now look, they're gonna get a lead change finally.
This is a big adjustment from Northwood. The first time through to this hill, they just didn't get enough time on it, and they just didn't set up early enough. This time through, though, they get the full setup they want over towards the hill. They win the rotational battle, but now Minnesota State, they're going to try to set up, try to get a break of their own in here, and they actually have a very good pinch potential coming in.
Y-Dog, Spear Up, picture perfect as always from these two. Smitzy's not yet going to give it up because there's still 30 seconds left. It wouldn't be too bad for that fight against Mammoth. Beat hard, waiting for the teammates to come through. Here's Kato from the front, Slushy from the back. Site's going to be open. Now Northwood another 20 seconds here, keeping their lead. We're going to basketball, of course. Jesse, barely a lead from Northwood, but this is completely different from the first rotations.
It's all scrap time still, though. Northwood, another 20 seconds of scrap time on that hill to start building this lead back up for themselves. And if breaks are going to keep coming as quick and often as they've been coming throughout this game, I mean, you're going to take what you're going to get if you're Northwood here and just keep trying to slowly put this game away. You're like, hey, you know what? Scrap time? Fine by me. Just keep giving it to us. We'll keep running away with the score. Like I said, going into this set of rotations, easily 90 seconds on that first set through scrap time. I would easily add another 50 seconds here for them out of their entire game, and now holding on to this hill as well, they're starting to really start to chunk away at this lead.
Minnesota State of Makota running in through the spiral staircase. They're going to find Alex. K-Top not able to be ready for Spear Up around the corner. 3 go down. The break is good for Minnesota State. Now this is where they can turn things around. Last time their hold onto Courtyard wasn't that bad. They struggled with it. This is really where the downfall of Minnesota State Makota started, was on this hill, because Northwood were able to once again break pretty easily and then always reinforce a player off spawn into it to contest. So if you're Minnesota State, you need to find these kills and they need to push out this map. That's a team nade from Alex. Luckily, Alex comes through with a kill on Noah. That's one way to bounce back for yourself. K-Top's going to be in this hill now. You can see Spear Up from this full staircase. In through Zigzag's going to be 2, but Northwood's still coming on top in the battles.
Minnesota State Makata. I mean, they looked so good through that first set of rotations, but you called it. As soon as they hit courtyard the last time through, this is really where Northwood started to take the game over, and they can absolutely still close this game out here. And Minnesota State, they're not really doing anything special on any of these break attempts. It's just been a lot of individual hits, and Northwood University just taking full control of it.
10 seconds left to go to map number 5, Minnesota State. They can stop this here, but it's going to take a lot of effort. They need to get in the hill. Nobody's going to be in touch. Why, dog? Why? I didn't even see that Northwood got it back into the hill. Northwood University, the number 2 seed, down by 2. Now sending us to a game number 5 for their chance to play in these playoffs. What a big comeback, folks. You gotta watch out. The reverse sweep. It's coming.
I was gonna say, Colin, you said you told everybody to put their brooms away, but I mean, if you're Northwood, you might want to just keep that broom out right now. They want to reverse it though. They're gonna go backwards with the broom this time through, but that is a crazy raid hard point for them to be able to close out there. They could not get control of a hill early on to save their lives throughout the first half of that game. It was just constant scrap time, constant just chipping away slowly but surely. But Northwood, they chipped away just enough to bring it back. And then once they finally started being able to secure some of those holds, that's where you really start to see that lead kind of chunk open and start to build up for the Northwood side. Not only did they bring back the big lead that Minnesota State Mikado had, Northwood, they pull it back, they bring it back, they were able to close that game out for themselves.
I have to say, I wasn't expecting that out of Northwood, but the pressure that they were putting on the hill, I mean, yeah, both of these teams were finding their breaks, but nobody was getting these holds. And then when it came down to it, that scrap time was a lot more than when Minnesota State were getting in the midst of it, because Northwood just kept on putting a player off of respawn inside that hill. And that's got to be annoying. We're now going back to search and destroy. This is where Minnesota State and Makota really kind of took their own. Express is going to be the map where we're landing for this game number 5. Talk to me a little bit about this, because that game 2 was pretty one-sided. What are you looking at Northwood here if they want to complete this reverse sweep?
I mean, it's looking like we have almost a completely different Northwood, if I'm being honest, from what we saw in that first 2 maps. Very different in terms of just the pace of play that they're bringing, the slaying that they're bringing. I think if I'm Northwood, though, and I'm really trying to focus on one thing going into this game, is you just can't get pieced the way that you were getting pieced in that map number 2. It was very heavily slayed into the Minnesota favor. If you really look back at a lot of those rounds, there was 3 clean rounds for Minnesota where they didn't drop a body, multiple where they still had 3 men up at the end of the rounds. If you're Northwood University, I think your number one focus and your number one thing that you need to emphasize going on to this game is finding a way to bring the slay numbers back. You did in that last raid hard point. If you can kind of find a way to replicate that and take it from hard point, bringing it towards the search and destroy, and you're heading towards a great map to be able to do it on as well. In Express, this is a map where you can really play together with your team well, kind of play for those team pushes. This might just be their chance to come back into this game.
One thing we talked about in Moscow didn't really come through, but were the flank potential out of Slushy. We saw it a lot in Apocalypse, and even in Raid, I've seen a little bit of glimpses out of that. So, I mean, in Express, it's very open map. So you could be seeing that flank come out here from Slushy, and that's something you have to keep on your mind if you're Minnesota State of Mankato, because Express, we've seen it a lot out of the Cold War. I mean, it's the end of the season. We've seen it plenty of times. You're looking at those 4-player hits to a site, and if doing so, you're going to leave one half of it open. So you better make sure, if you're Minnesota State of Mankato, you keep somebody watching your backside, because you might be able to find a first blood on a Slushy if you do.
And you know what's funny too? It's like, yeah, we were talking about it in map number 2 that we really thought it was going to be Slushy, but it was kind of K-Tob a lot, actually, that was making a lot of those flank plays in the search and destroy. It just wasn't really working out for them. So I wonder if maybe they sent 2 through this game. They just really try to kind of mess with the Minnesota State Mikado players, because it has been a lot of damage for them that just kind of shuts them down consistently throughout this game. But nonetheless, Northwood University, they will be our first team here on offense, pushing towards the A site, and they have a very overwhelming amount of man advantage going over towards the site right now. If they can even find one and get this bomb down, it could absolutely be disastrous here for Northwood.
Here we go, chat. Let's get some hype for game number 5 in our series 2 of the night. Northwood, they get the bomb planted, but they took a heavy toll. It's a 2v4. with the time in their favor. Here comes the swing. They overwhelm Wine Dog. Smitzy gets the beat down, and Minnesota State of Mankato. They're right back into this.
Well, that's not a good start if you're Northwood. We said that they needed to pick up this lane. And unfortunately for them, we see a 4-0 come in from Minnesota throughout another clean round. They're 4th in the series so far. But I mean, if you're a Minnesota State Mankato fan, that's exactly what you want to see off the start of this game. A lot of the kills that we saw there, it really opens up with them being able to find the flank kill right off the rip and just opening up the pinch potential onto that A site. We see it all the time on this map, but you really need to be watching your back and making sure you're not getting shot in it.
Yes, you do. Minnesota State of Mankato now on attack. Bond's going to be going to the A side. I like this play from Northwood. They're going to run it down middle. They're looking to catch some good timing out of here, but Noah might be in the perfect opportunity to shut this down. He's going to find Alex. The stun's going to be out. Is going to get some information on the rest. And you look at the disengage from Minnesota. You're going to double back. Look to get here, but Slushy beats them to it. Noah loses the fight in the staircase. Things have completely turned around here. Now Northwood in the driver's seat. Things are going to slow down immediately as Minnesota, they really need to go back to the drawing board on this round.
It's not over completely yet. They can still try to make a wrap towards either one of these bomb sites. With the way that the map is looking, obviously they don't fully know yet, but definitely that A site looking a little bit cleaner than trying to push this back over towards B. And if they can catch one of these two players off guard as they're trying to get aggressive here, they can really start to bring this round back, make it a 2v2. But nonetheless, Spire up, he should be able to push up and get this bomb down, and it's just going to be Mammoth's job to try to watch over him. And you can see nobody on Northwood is moving. They are just waiting for this bomb to go down before they want to make their move.
As soon as it does, it's out to the races. Information there. Mammoth's going to give it away. Look at the reinforcements here. Minnesota putting a lot of emphasis inside the lockers. Make sure that they can force Minnesota or Northwood into their gunfights. Here comes Northwood. K-Top finds an opening. Mammoth's gonna fall. Now Spirit all alone and not ready for the gunfight. A little bit of damage on there. 57 HP. The cleanup's gonna be out and an easy defuse from Northwood. There's a big bounce back round here. They get themselves on the board and tie us up.
Double defensive rounds. So far, so good for these two teams. And Northwood, like you said, they bring it right back into their favor. And it's a tough one there, but you got to think that if Syrup was able to just find one there, Spirit, if he was able to find one and just get away with his life, it makes that round a lot more difficult. There was only around 20 seconds left to get the defuse. If he can just play time, maybe take a shoulder peek. But for some reason, he was just sitting under the bottom of lockers in the thick of it, just wasn't ready for the gunfight, it didn't seem like.
Back onto attack here. Northwood got shut down at A this time. It looks like they want B. And you see Minnesota's adjustment to this round is they're going to send 3 players over to the A site, leave Mammoth all alone, where he's actually going to come out on top with a big one over Slushy now. Northwood again at a disadvantage when that bomb goes down. You got 45 seconds in your favor. Can you burn this clock? He's going to be flying right out here. I know he's going to be there. Alex takes the gunfight, but Mammoth for the trade. Now the collapse from Minnesota. They're going to overwhelm these players out. Play for the trade battle in K-Top. I don't even know if he's going to expect them to hop this bomb right away. Spear should get this defuse before anything can come through.
Oh, he almost caught that timing to be able to do it, but they just get the defuse off before they can finish it off. So defense still continuing to hold strong here. And it's really this kill from Y-Dog that opens it up for Spyrup to be able to get on that bomb. Like you said, I don't think that they were ready for that to be able to come through as quickly as they did. The important part in that round, though, is K-Top. He stays alive. He's still on that 3 streak.
Oh, it's going to be a bloodbath here. This is what I love about Express. Sometimes in the pit, things get dangerous. Smitzy spots them on the cross. Going to deal some damage. Chip away at these Minnesota players and allows Slushy to clean them up. They line up for 3. A quick round for Northwood.
I mean, what do you even say at the start of that round? Slushy just holds strong on the right-hand side here. He doesn't even have to do anything. I mean, yeah, he finds all 3, but they were all so weak from his teammates shooting them in the backs and the sides. Just a perfectly played round from Northwood there on the defense. It's going to put 2 of their players now on 3 in a row, trying to find some streaks, and another Northwood offense pushing towards the B site. It really seems to be the site they favor, and only 1 player over here now for Minnesota State, so the retake this time through, it's going to be a lot tougher. You can see what they're going to try to do is spread this out, put 4 players all around, and try to set up a big pinch on all the players on Northwood in the back.
I think this is the best chance for retake we've seen out here. 4-on-4. Minnesota have them trapped in. Now here it comes. That stun's going to land, but Wideout decides to back on up. Spirit winning a big opening on that side, but Northwood fighting from the inside out with the bomb down, and they're winning their one-on-ones constantly. You see Spirit trying to pull this one back. A one-on-one. K-Top tucked away the staircase. The Diamante's going to push right into his sight lines. Northwood find another round now. 2 in a row for their side. This is a big combination, and now that Northwood started to pick this one up, Express is a little bit crazy here.
It's the first offense that we've been able to see one out here so far as well. Yes, but he just got a little bit too aggressive there. K-Tob, he had every idea in his mind. He said, you know what, I feel like this player is going to push through. Let me just push back, sit and hold my line. He does. He wins the round. And now Northwood was the ones looking so rough for them. Find their 3rd round of S&D. K-Top finds streaks. He's on 6 in a row. If he can find that cruise missile, and they win another round out here and are able to go up 4-2, you got to think that it is going to be playing right into their favor.
Oh, K-Top, that shrieks. Spirit's last alive. He's going to walk right past him. A free win for Northwood there off that last one. 4-2. 3 rounds in a row now for the Wolves. As this is getting a little bit chalked here for if you're looking at the opposite side.
Man.
Minnesota State of Mankato, the 2-0 start to the series. Now 4-2 down in Express. You have to battle back. You don't want to give up map point here on Express.
We said it, that the likes of Northwood earlier on in the series, they needed to hit that regain button. Now if you're Minnesota State, Makata, you need to find a way to reset here. You just need to find a way to play it. The tough part is with K-Top having those streaks, it just opens up so much potential on the A site. If there's players who are kind of in a position that could annoy the plant from Northwood, they can use the streaks to shut them down. If they get the bomb down easily, they can use the streaks to shut it down. And once again, streaks, they're going to be called in. Haven't been able to find anything yet. He's going to try to bend it in, but nobody was home.
Off screen, though, Alex is going to take that shot punch right onto Wydog. A 4v2, his bomb's going down. Spirit looking to rush it down the top of the lane. Not able to interrupt this bomb plan. It's going to go down. Now trapped away Northwood. 5-2, folks. I hope you got your brooms out for this.
I love that usage of the streak, by the way, Colin. I was saying it at the start there that they can use it to push players off the site, and it's exactly what they do. It opened up so much room for the bomb to be able to go down on the A site for absolutely free. He hovers the cruise missile just above. What that does is it forces all the Minnesota State Makata players back to have to kind of play back to hold their life so they don't die to the streak. Once they try to avoid the streak, it was easy enough there for Northwood to close it out.
Off the start here, bombs down on top. That is troublesome if you're Mankato. On top line, Alex, it's a big nade now. 1v2. Can Mammoth be the player to hold them in there? Beautiful shots now. Able to cut this down into 1v1, but bomb down in front of him. Smitsy's gonna get in the ticket booth, and Minnesota stay alive. Mammoth turns up.
Needed that round if you're Mammoth, and we don't get to see it at the end. Unfortunately, that 2-piece, huge to close that round out. He finds the last 2 in a 1v2 and gets the round. This is going to be a tough comeback here, though. Needing 4 rounds in a row from the likes of Minnesota State Mankato. They've gotten 1. They need 3 more to bring this game back.
It's going to be a climb. 1 round at a time. Wydog getting into the station. Actually, some good timing on Alex. His first blood snaps over to the second one. 1 and 2 for Wydog. Completely shuts out Northwood inside this round, and you can see that the arrows, they're going to be collapsing on in here. Pack of wolf mentality, the shot punch, not enough. Bomb goes down. They know their win condition. Slushy walking into enemy territory, and Minnesota State 5-4.
Feels like in those last 2 rounds, Minnesota really realized what they were doing wrong throughout the first couple, and it was just not enough aggression out of them. They were trying to bring the same mentality that they had in that raid, search and destroy, where it was just take the map control, win the gunfights, take the rounds. That's really what their recipe for success was, and they were kind of playing it a little bit too slow. Now in this game, they're starting to bring it back. They're starting to kind of play back into their favor. Once the pace picks up, it seems to favor the likes of Minnesota State Mankato. If they can really kind of pull this one back and force us into a round 11, I really think it's anybody's game.
Northwood.
This is super split offense.
Oh, Slushy spots it. He's going to dip. Oh, but they're all going to flood into Y-Dog. He had no idea. That's bombed down, Jesse. No one trying to pull this one back, but the reinforcements are going to be there. Spear ups around the backside. He's going to find Smitzy, a 2v2. Leaves us even. Very disconnected are both of these players. Bam, he's going to put Slushy down. 1v2 for K-Top. He's got the SMG, and he's got the bomb down now. Rotation around. Spot Spear up in the back. Information both ways, so should be the call for Bam to go pick this one up, and even more, putting some more shots down onto K-Top. Just stay down. Don't go back up.
Both AR players still left alive here for Minnesota.
Oh,
I was going to say they can try to work the bomb plant down over towards B, but you're right. They read the play perfectly, and we said they needed to win 4 rounds in a row, Colin. It's been 3 out of 4 now for the Minnesota State Mankato. You were calling for the Brooms to come back out. It might be time to put them back away as we head into round 11.
Threw in the towel too early. I should have learned from your mistake earlier.
You never throw the towel in.
Never count them out. Now let's go. Round 11 in the pit. Alex got the AR. He spots them out. Nades. Mammoth gonna dodge and weave, but K-Top on the opposite end. The trades back and forth. They find a second one that's bombed down right in the middle. Y-Dog gonna claw themselves back in this with the AR. Gets in behind. Spear up to double down now. 1v2 for Alex. Can he clutch up? He's got both of them right in front of him. He knows he can do this, Jesse. Spear up gets the shot off. Y-Dog knows he can follow this one up. In Minnesota State, they make the comeback. They shut down Northwood, and they eliminate them from a playoff opportunity.
My hands are on my head. I mean, I'm in absolute disbelief. I said it at the start. I thought Minnesota State had a very good chance to close this game out and to be able to come back and bring it in. They went up 2-0 in the series. It was looking so good for them. Then Northwood, they bring it back. They start to claw their way back in. I started to get a little skeptical. I started to feel a little bit nervous about my call. Let me tell you, when they went down 5-2 in that last map, I was not feeling too confident for Minnesota State Mankato. But they brought that back so hard towards the end of that series that 4 rounds in a row of search. If that is not the true definition, Seymour, of it is never over until it's over, then you need to go watch that map back over and over again.
That was wild. That has to be one of my favorite matches that we've seen on stream just yet. And that's only beginning right now with the play-ins. There's still another game to go through, Jesse, and these teams, they are here to win. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Mankato here. They got the clutch opportunity. Northwood, I had them on my eyes to win this series and move on, but I think Minnesota just came out with the fire, and Northwood were not ready in some of those situations. Talk to me a little bit about the series. What was it that Minnesota did to bring themselves back in that Game 5? Because like you said, almost had to count them out, but they really just stuck to their own, and they were finding these round wins.
So it kind of felt like when the pace really picked up, and I said it at the end of that search and destroy, but it kind of felt like when the pace picked up, that's when Minnesota really started to kind of build up that advantage and start to come away with some of those round wins for themselves. You saw it in map 1. It was very hectic back and forth on that apocalypse. Minnesota was able to take it. Map number 2, the raid, search, and destroy. It was a very close range S&D map, and that's also Minnesota just kept bringing the fight to them over and over again. And it kind of felt like in that last Express, once they went down 5-2, Minnesota said, hey, you know what? Screw it. let's just start running at them. Let's show our gun skill and let's win some big gunfights here to bring it back. And let's also not forget, Colin, at one point in that four round comeback, Northwood had a 2v1.
They did.
In the very first round of that comeback, and Mammoth on the top in that same position. We saw, I can't remember exactly who it was in the same position from Northwood at the very end there.
That was Alex.
I believe it was Alex. Yeah, at the very end. I was gonna say it. I didn't want to cut you off during your play-by-play, but he was in the same position. He clutched that 1v1 in, or that 1v2 in, and he was able to do it. Alex wasn't able to shut it down. Mammoth kind of clutched it up there and won that game for them.
I mean, some people have the clutch, some people don't. That's why only the best make it into the playoff. And I mean, Northwood, they were close. They almost had it, but it's not enough when it counts out there. I mean, even in that hard point, starting off in Apocalypse, Mankato, they came out, they won it pretty convincingly. I mean, it was close at that, but I mean, their rotations were smooth. When they did get the breaks, they were holding on to it, almost exactly like Northwood in the raid, but flips. Like, these teams were just going pound for pound, breaking each other into hard points. But there was always one coming out with the majority time. That was Mankato in that Apocalypse. They showed their strengths here, and now they need to really look over this series, because you have a tough opponent on the radar now for the conference finals of this play-in. It's Illinois State, and that is not an easy team to go up against.
And both these teams have losses to them, to that Illinois State team. They are a very dominant team that we've seen so far here. I think the one thing, though, if you're Minnesota State, that you actually have to look forward to now is that we saw them last week, and we saw that last week to Illinois State. It was all the way back. It was week 9, only 1 week ago. So now when you're looking towards this next game and looking towards trying to take on Illinois State, because it was on stream 1, and 2, because it's so recent, you have so much stuff to go back and look over to try to come out and come back with a game plan to be able to get in towards this next game, to be able to try to take that victory away from Illinois State. And what that could do for seeding could be everything for Minnesota State Mikado, to be able to come back in and be able to really give themselves their best shot in the playoffs.
So now talk to me, Jesse, about the rest of this day. We've already seen 2. What are your takeaways from the day so far? I mean, this is the play-ins. These are when teams are really backed up. So what's the takeaway from this day?
I mean, the takeaway right now is it just seems like whatever teams are coming out with more fire or who's able to take it. Like that first series we saw with UTK and UNCW, these matches, we really don't know who's going to win them. Well, me and you have both been on the fence on either side so far to start today off. You thought UNCW in the first match. I thought UTK. UTK pulled it off. I thought MSU here. You thought Northwood University. It's been very, very close. And honestly, I don't know, dude. I don't. It's so hard to guess who's going to win these matches. I mean, I'm 2-0, but I mean, who's counting, right? And it's
obviously you are.
It's tough to say, but it's been a crazy day so far.
It has been, and I think this is really what's showing. When the going gets tough, you just gotta get going. The upset from Minnesota State of Mankato inside this game number 3, folks. I apologize for the wait. We are just setting up the interview, and as soon as we get this interview set up, we will bring them into this desk. So stay tuned for us getting this into it, Jesse. We have a little bit of a talking point, though, as we are trying to fill this time. Vanguard, it just came out. I want to get your thoughts firsthand. New game, new season. How do you feel?
Well, I mean, I hated it on night 1. I talked to you. What was it? It was almost like 5 in the morning. I got a Discord call with Seymour because I don't know if you guys know or not, but COD players are grinders. We like to get on and play late at night. And everybody was on that first night the game came out. Me and Colin, I get in the call with him, and I'm just I was hating on the game. I wasn't enjoying it too much. I had to come back. I had to reset, much like Minnesota did in that last series.
Oh, yeah.
And I reset for day 2. We came out. We had a little bit more fun playing it. Now, I don't know how I feel too much right now about being able to punch through walls and things like that. But I'm not going to lie, the game's starting to grow on me a little bit. The 4v4 side of it has been really fun. Watching all those tournaments has been so much fun. It's my favorite part of every single new COD game is just watching all the pro players go through and shark tournaments and 4v4 S&D. Absolutely something I love to watch every year.
Hasn't really been the case. I mean, things have been interesting. I mean, yeah, the pro teams are winning these early preseason tournaments that we're seeing, but they've been close. I mean, we've seen some pretty interesting tournaments, and that I think is the most exciting out of this. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm impressed with Vanguard. I love it. I've fallen in love with the game. As soon as it dropped, I mean, haven't stayed up till 7 a.m. in the morning to play a video game like I did when that COD dropped. It completely changed things. It broke my sleep schedule. I did it 2 days in a row, in fact, and then I knew I had to, like, all right, I need to take a break here. Like, this is a little bit much.
I think you were what, 4 Red Bulls in on the first night.
I was going for it. I love that game so far. It's perfect. Well, it's not. I want to say it's perfect because there are some things that I think it could definitely change, but it is really well done. It just makes me so excited for all, it just makes me so excited for all these teams that we're seeing right now in the NACE, in just college Call of Duty in general. Now we get to see them come out in Vanguard in this game that's so tactical. It's going to be such a good season, I think.
I really wonder what the strategy is going to be like as well, heading in towards Search and Destroy and towards Hardpoint, all these different little game modes. We don't even know what our third game mode is yet for next year either. So it's absolutely, I think we're going to be in for a great year.
I think we're going to be in a fantastic year, but I got a little bit of a message for everyone behind the scenes. Every 80 seconds, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer, and 40% of all pediatric cancers are, in fact, blood cancers. Every blood cancer diagnosis turns lives upside down, and when this happens, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, LLS, they're here to help. Since 1949, LLS has invested more than $1.3 billion into research, pioneering many of today's most innovative approaches. They work tirelessly to find cures and ensure patients can access the life-saving treatments they need. When someone experiences the fear and uncertainty of a cancer diagnosis, LLS provides them hope, compassion, education, and support. So rightfully, just like LLS is making an impact in the cancer community, we have the LLS hero of the game to represent the player who made the biggest impact in the match played, whether it was a clutch play, a sacrifice, or provided strong leadership when it mattered most. And I think it got spoiled a little bit because today our hero of the match is T-Bam. Welcome to the booth. How was that game 5?
Guys. That game was crazy. I can't believe we came back 4 rounds in a row. Like, it was just nerve-wracking. Absolutely.
I bet you guys are on cloud 9 right now.
Shook. Yeah, I'm like really shook right now. It was awesome.
They are not sleeping tonight anytime soon.
I got a feel though. What was it? What brought you guys back in that game 5? Because you guys brought the ice.
Yeah, so we just focus on round by round. You know, just slow down, think what we gotta do, just focus on our routes and all that. So strategies came in huge there.
I think that's exactly what Cruz said that you guys needed to do. So you guys took a page out of Cruz's book right there, and that was just impressive. But I'm going to leave you to Cruz now because I know he's got a lot of questions to ask.
Yeah, I mean, a big first one for me. Just coming into this series, you guys obviously lost the first matchup between the two teams. What was the big difference makers, and what were the big things you guys focused on going into this series to kind of come away and be able to bring back this series and win this one out?
So we mostly just been focusing on like the maps we've just been like weak on, and we've been focused on like a core like 3 maps for each game mode. And so we just kind of got in the rhythm of just focusing on the good maps. Like the raid hardpoint, I felt like we could have stole it, but it's all good because it came to game 5 and we got the ice there.
That was crazy. I mean, the other thing that was absolutely crazy in that round was your 1v2 clutch. Obviously, kind of what sparked the team's comeback there. Any big thing happened in that round that like really just gave you the momentum to come back in that?
I really just stayed focused, tried to stay calm because I knew if we lost around the game would have been over. So I was straight up just trying my hardest. But yeah.
Crazy rounds.
So now what are you guys thinking? The conference final coming up on the weekends. You guys got Illinois State to go up against. What are you guys going to work on going into this game 5?
So I just got to get in the lab and just get more games. And like it's not Vanguard season yet. We got to keep playing Cold War. It's the main thing.
Exactly. It's got some stuff to do. Well, thank you, T-Bam, for coming out here. Congratulations on the game 5.
Oh, thank you so much, guys.
Kind of stick to it. Stick to what you got. You got a big game coming up, so I want you guys to hit the books for that one. I can't wait to see you guys come out with that. Anything you'd like to say to the stream before we let you go?
Man, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully we can come out with the big one against Illinois this week.
Good luck in that one. Take care. Have a good night.
Hey, you too. Thank you, guys.
2 games done, Jesse. All ready for this day. It feels like the plans are going by so fast. And before I know it, they're going to be over and I'm going to be sad. But at least we're getting good games out of here. Minnesota on that comeback, it really made my night. I was really kind of worried for Northwood, but they managed to drag it on to that game 5, put them on a 5-2, and then it just slipped up. They fumbled the bag. They fumbled the bag right there.
They did. I mean, like he said, it was a 2v1, probably a round that he should not have won. We saw it in the last round when Minnesota State Mankato was able to get kind of in their own 2v1 in the exact same situation. They closed it out. T-Bam, he had the ice. He won that 1v2, sparked the team. They came back. Huge rounds from Minnesota State Mankato, and they're able to win the game out for themselves.
Folks, before we head to a break, I want to tell you a little bit about Metafy, because Metafy is an online platform that allows players to learn, form, and play with some of the best players in the world. Metafy grants players a private one-on-one coaching session with elite coaches across a variety of games, including Call of Duty, which we're watching tonight. You know, we got Vanguard coming up, so you might want to get in touch to get ahead of the curve for that one. But it also features a powerful replay review tool, allowing you and your players to submit a past match for review by the best in the game, and get annotated feedback frame by frame. So it's really helpful, especially if you're a Call of Duty team looking to get ahead of the curve going into Vanguard, especially for these preseason tournaments. You might be looking to get that. So if you go over to Metafy and use CSL15 at checkout, you can get 15% off any Metafy session with a coach of your choice. So go check that out. It's really helpful. We got coming up next after this break, match number 3, the Revenge Tour, St. Mary Rattlers against Independence Community College. You don't want to miss it. One last match of the day. St. Mary's University, the Rattlers, they get their revenge tour opportunity. They sneak their way into the playoffs, and now ICC is on their doorstep. It's going to be a big one, Jesse. I mean, this is something we hyped up for a lot of weeks coming. If St. Mary's can make it this far, do they have what it takes to get through the competition? Something that they weren't able to do last time. And I mean, the matchup that we see here as we look at this head-to-head, I mean, this St. Mary's team, they have made leaps and bounds to improve themselves here in the NACE Starleague, but the Independence Community College, they've always been one step ahead of this squad, and you can see Big Head, Marx's Rob and Mauro, they are not gonna give this St. Mary's University team an easy run.
No, and it is a tough matchup here for St. Mary's University. Coming in as the 3 seed, only losing 2 matches throughout the entire regular season. One of them, of course, to Independence Community College. The other one coming to the likes of St. Edward's University. It's going to be a tough matchup. Let's not beat around the bush here. The last time they played the Independence Community College, it was a 3-0. It was a stomping. It was not even close. It was a raid 3-0. It was a raid 250-41. Standoff, search and destroy 6-1, and a garrison 3-0. It wasn't very close. The Independence Community College Pirates, they are a different level of monster to go up against. But like you said, that loss all the way back in week 5. St. Mary's University, they've had so much time to improve on their game. We've seen them playing their weaker maps. We know Seeker. We know he's got that whiteboard written up. All the strats in behind him. We know that he is absolutely prepared off his mind to go into this match against Independence Community College.
Yeah, the squad, Xander Clan, Jitsu, Gonzo, and their Lat-Am leader, Seeker, they've been through the ringer. And a lot of the times they have come out on top with shining stars, really, when you're looking at this whole team. I think St. Mary's, in a lot of these teams, they have showed a lot of growth and a lot of opportunity to really upset this certain squads in the Star League. I think this is going to be a really big tell against Independence Community College on the St. Mary's squad. And I know there's a ragtag team, a new team of 4 going into the season. It's going to be a hard one against each other. And I think that this is going to be a tell for the Vanguard season on how much do we need to see them improve more before they can be one of those top dogs inside collegiate Call of Duty. ICC is going to be a good opponent to really measure that out.
It's going to be a big test here for ICC and for St. Mary's. I mean, ICC, you know, their whole mentality right now is, hey, let's come in, let's get the job done, do exactly what we did the last time. We know what to expect from this team. It's just a matter of doing it. Now, if you're St. Mary's University, the big thing that you can do is you can kind of look back at the old series and the old map sets that you went through and try to, especially because it was on stream, you can take a lot of notes from that while coming in towards this match against ICC.
It's going to be a big one. Let's take a look at our best of 5 here, because these maps are going to be the difference of them making it into the playoffs. We start off on Raid for our map number 1, Hardpoint. Search and Destroy brings us a standoff. We go back to Raid Control inside that map 3. And if we get pushed to the distance, Garrison Hardpoint, Raid, Search and Destroy. That's interesting, Jesse, right off the bat. It's going to pique my interest. We don't usually see Garrison Hardpoint come through here in the NACE Starleague, but slipping its way through, I think that is a big map number 4 if we can make it there.
I was gonna say we have to get there though. That's good. That is going to be the tough part, I think, is getting towards that Garrison Hardpoint, a map that we really haven't seen between these two teams very often at all either. And I think that's a kind of a big touching point for St. Mary's, is we've seen this team play on a lot of different maps throughout the season. I don't recall if we've seen them even play a Garrison Hardpoint yet. But the big thing looking at overall that map set is Raid and Standoff as your first 2 maps, and those are the exact same 2 maps that they played as the first 2 maps in our last series. That could either be a really good thing for St. Mary's University, who are now coming into this one completely prepared. They know exactly what they're going to get from Independence Community College, and they're going to come in with an answer, or it's going to be a bad thing, and we could really just end up seeing the exact same result that we saw last time out.
Well, here we go into the last match of the night. Game number 1, Raid Hardpoint. St. Mary's looking to start off strong. It's not going to be easy, fighting for the less preferred side off of spawn. Nobody taking a majority out of this time. Still Independence looking to force out the gunfights, win the team fight before they get this time, and that's exactly what they're doing. And St. Mary's struggling off the bat. That's a big opening now for this rotation battle. Seeker's going to drop on low and heal up for the second fight.
They got a good amount of contention, though, through that first hill, and you can see St. Mary's, their full focus right now is to play fundamentally correct. They want to go towards the second hill, try to break these spawns and get in towards this hill so they can try to start to build up some time here, but it is just not working out in their favor right now. Independence Community College, they're finding a lot of kills in the back line. They hold on to the right spawn, and they get a good amount of time on hill 1. Very good start for ICC.
Yo, Big Head. Dipping on in. All 4 players set up here for ICC. Gonzo's looking to make the rotation in the back line, but it is on lock right now. Beats Rob in the back now. Jitsu's allowed to get in. The trades, though. Big Head winning on out. Looking to double down. Swaps to the D-Modi for 4 in a row. That's going to be spawning out St. Mary's at hill number 1 with 35 seconds left. It looks like they do want to take another chance at this, but they're losing the fights immediately, and that's going to call for the rotation immediately back over to Garage.
They need to be careful here, though. This is a very early rotation with 30 seconds left. So Independence Community College, it's going to be basically a free 30 here. And if they're able to find kills on this rotation with how far forward they're going to be pushed, it will spawn the St. Mary's players out at the old hill once again.
Big Head and Art setting up for this pinch. Alessio on the opposite side. This can start something and finish it faster. Seeker, they know he's on the opposite end. These trades are going to be important here. Gonzo caught out into the open. Xander all alone. Sharks around him. That's the break. Immediately, Seeker on the edge. Tries to get in. Only good for 1. St. Mary's, they have to group up for this. They are in a bad position right now, and Alessio is just going to make a bad position worse.
It's just such a perfect break from Independence Community College. They force every single spawn out exactly where they want them to go. And every time they get into a gunfight, there's always one player there. And if it's not just one, there's always a second player right behind them to force the issue for Independence Community College. And once again, St. Mary's, they just need to chalk the rest of this hill. Another free 20 seconds going towards the likes of Independence Community College, while St. Mary's has to hightail it across the map, try to get set up, and hope that they don't get broken once again.
This is getting scary, Jesse. 140 or 116 okay, to 10. Old 100-point lead going into the basketball hill. The first set of rotations, Big Head has it. Artillery strike 2 for the later ends of the game. Those shots are so crisp as Jitsu gets beamed at distance. Xander all alone inside this hill on an island. Can he swing or swim? What are we going to see? Well, when you're in troubling waters as Independence Community College, that's only a sink, it looks like. Seeker trying to claw their way back in this. Working with Gonzo to pinch. They do break back into this hill. Alessio maintaining a little bit of pressure on the next of these St. Mary's players. You can hear those streaks gonna come through. The artillery strike burned immediately, Jesse. Not gonna come out with anything. In fact, Xander is gonna be tucked away and lets Marxus get into this hill. And if anything, it gives them space.
Yeah, it's exactly what it does. That streak comes through, forces all the players on St. Mary's to either get hit by the streak or push in towards that little cubby, that little closet that you have inside the basketball court, and it just opened up everything for Independence Community College to be able to break back into the hill. Speaking of breaking in, though, Seeker, he'll find 3 on the rotation over towards the new hill here, so it should be St. Mary's set up early on here, but streaks, once again, going to be an issue here coming in from ICC.
Comes for the ICC big guns. Gonzo gonna get caught red-handed. Jitsu around the corner. Crossfire is set up, but Alessio is gonna find him in the opening. Doubles down on his Xander, and that's gonna open up this hill for ICC. Progress. They're gonna be soaking up this time as much as they can into this hill, but you know that it's gonna be heavily contested. Big Head still has that artillery strike, so still a lot of streaks on Independent side as they are dominating the kill feed. 10 and 6 for Big Head. He's hardly had to do anything, and he has those streaks.
That's what happens though when you get such a big lead off the rip and you win so many individual gunfights for your team. As I mean, we know Big Head's a top amateur player, but he is just making this look so easy right now. Him and Alessio really putting on a show here for ICC.
It's a tough one here, and very scary matchup already. Map number 1. The rotation battle, a 1v2. Has a little bit of backup there. Alessio is going to be able to hold this crossfire with Rob. Finds the first one, second one, dropped onto the van. Rob pushed the aggression in, and ICC are looking to put this one away. They can end it here, Jesse. So St. Mary's, they can't give it up just yet. They're going to have to force themselves into the ring, contest it, and the break. That should be enough.
Yeah, not the easiest hill to get a full 60 on, and with that final tick coming through, will mean that ICC needs to at least make one more rotation over towards the new hill to be able to win it on that one. But they still need to get back in this to get close enough to be able to take the win on the new hill. It will be a tough rest of the game here for St. Mary's, though. They look to just try to keep breaking this from the front. It just doesn't seem to matter, though. ICC's right back into the hill, just able to constantly keep flooding because they hold on to the good side spawns. And you can see St. Mary's, they're not even focusing on scrap time anymore. They know that they need to put their full focus on trying to lock down and get a full 60 here because it needs to be practically perfect COD from this point on.
Oh, gas is on. Seeker turning up the pace now. 3 in a row for St. Mary's. This is something we didn't see in the first set of rotations. Finally getting themselves a little bit of a stance here in the kill factor, but gotta worry about Marxist back there, setting up for the page. The streaks came through for St. Mary's inside, but inside the kitchen, the kills going their way. Still Big had a chance to break on that front line. Rob's gonna fall. Second one inside Money. Big Head walks right in. The kills haven't cut out these St. Mary's players, but one good break. And Independence College could be right in striking distance of this map win. Alessio, that's a big one-on-one against Jitsu.
And this is a huge hold from St. Mary's, exactly what they needed to start to claw their way back in. But here comes the troublesome part. You can't just give up scrap time anymore at this point of the game. You need to hold on to every second you have and have a perfect rotation across the map, break into hill number 3, and to get another full 60 here, and then do it all over again to hill 4.
Has to be perfect Call of Duty. Jitsu, those shots there. Seeker for the follow-up. And they're doing a great job at staying in this, finally shaking off these play-in jitter. As you see, St. Mary's are here to play, but Seeker overwhelms. Independence get the early break. Now, this is where things can get dangerous. 20 seconds for the win. St. Mary's very far away from this hill, and you can look at Independence there pushing the aggression to them, taking the fights early, so St. Mary's can't even get close to it. That should be all she wrote. Robski's going to be looking to cut them down as they flood on in one by one, but Independence Community College, they sent a message here on Raid.
Yeah, but big improvements from St. Mary's, though, in that map number 1 for the last time we saw these two teams play it. It was a 250-41 the last time through. This time, they don't even get 50-point club. They don't get 100-point club. They get 107 points out of it. It was close. You got to think, though, if they could have played that hill number 2, the way that they did in that second set of rotations in the first set, we could be in for a completely different game and a completely different outcome here. But I think you're right. I think there were some jitters coming into this game from St. Mary's University. They did not look like the team that we've seen the last couple of weeks, and they looked exactly like the team that we saw week 5 when they got bullied by Independence Community College.
Yeah, and ICC remained the monster in St. Mary's closet. It just looked easy on Raid for them. Again, they're obviously living in the heads of these players, and they remember what happened last time they met up. You know it's going to be a hard game, but if you're looking at St. Mary's to bring this back in the Search to Destroy, the first step is slowing it down, because St. Mary's University, they've been constantly adjusting themselves to the teams that they play week after week, and that's the growth that I'm seeing out of them. When they change their game, they do something different, but this looks exactly the same as what we saw in week 5, and they can't do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm really worried about this standoff, search and destroy as well. Not just because it's a standoff and that they lost Independence Community College on this map, but last week when we had the St. Mary's team on stream, they played NSU. They get a 3-1 victory over NSU, but what was the one map that they lost? It was a standoff, search and destroy, and it was a 6-1 scoreline. It was not even close. It was a very, very poor map for St. Mary's University. I think if they want to win this map, they would have had to have done some extreme conditioning and looking over the map and looking over where their mistakes were last week, looking over where their mistakes were against ICC a couple of weeks ago. And they must be confident coming into this one to play this map and take this map as their choice, because you got to think that out of all the maps that they could have banned, that this one might have been one that they would have wanted to. So they have to have something in the bag coming out against ICC here.
Well, one thing, when we brought Seeker in for the interview after last week's matchup, he was telling us about what happened on that standoff. And he noted that St. Mary's play a lot of standoff. So there's a lot of VODs to look over, especially because they've been on stream a lot. So Independence Community College coming into this, they might want to go to standoff here. It could, in fact, be their map choice to take St. Mary's into the search and destroy. And they know that they have a lot to study here for St. Mary's, and it could just be a day in the park for them. So coming out with that raid hard point is definitely going to put them in a more comfortable advantage moving into this map number 2. If I'm looking at St. Mary's, I already talked about slowing down. It needs to be on that attacking side, though, because oftentimes you do see the defenders, they get that first blood, they have that map unlocked. They're able to push up the aggression to tank out of that A site, past tractors, and really those attackers don't have anything. So if you slow yourselves down on attack, you can catch some of these ICC players on the aggression and maybe even walk away with the first blood that could lead you to a bomb plant.
I can see where you're coming from, where you want to see them kind of slow down, but I don't want to see them give away too much map positioning, though. You want to make sure you take control of the map as well. You don't want to just allow Independence Community College to pin you in the back of your spawn as well. So not only if you're going to be playing it slow, you also need to make sure you're winning your gunfights and making sure that you're able to get into the aggression and not just get pinned.
There's no way you can make that. I was gonna say.
I've never seen that jump up get made. I was sitting here silently hoping that he was gonna make it and I was gonna feel like a fool. But I'm glad you said it, and not me. Did he finally make it?
No. Well, actually, Marxus did, not Alessio. So it is possible, but something that's not possible, it seems like, is this 1v3. You can do a lot of damage, but the trades are gonna come through. Big Head's gonna put the nail in the coffin for round number 1, and we hop into standoff. And 4v2, Rob does, Gonzo does as much as he can, but just in a tough situation.
Yeah, it's definitely not a situation that you ever really want to be in a 2 versus 4, let alone in a 2 versus 4 against Independence Community College. But it's all right. There's still 10 more possible rounds to be played throughout this game, St. Mary's. Don't let that one put you in the dirt just yet. Bring that confidence that we see you guys play with week in, week out. Start to bring your way back into this game. I want to see a lot of map control try to come in from them. You need to try to pin these Independence Community College players back. You don't want to give them too much positioning to run around with. And a very fast 4-man hit coming into the A side from ICC.
Doesn't know what hit him, Jesse. Luckily, Jitsu can convert into 1, but that 1 kill. Not expecting the follow-up from Marx's, keeping on the tails right now of St. Mary's. And again, he's going to flood on out. He's tank, catch some good timing on the Seeker. Wins the 1-on-1. A little bit shaky on both parties. Xander again in that disadvantage. 1v3 this time. Is able to make it a 1v2. Marxus has his way onto the rafters. Is going to be able to catch them out. And just playing, really toying with Xander at this point. 23 seconds left, and they're running circles around Grandma. Is this finally going to be... Oh, don't do it to him. Don't do it to him. Oh, no. Yeah, he knows. He knows. He knows.
It's just a tough round there. We saw it right off the rip, and we'll get to see it again right here. Gonzo just gets completely destroyed off the start of this round as 4 players on ICC make a 4-man push over towards that A site. They get the bomb down easy, and that round was just it was a little bit too easy for ICC there. But that's just one of those rounds where you catch the other team completely off guard. St. Mary's not ready for the 4-man hit. We'll see how they adjust in the next round.
Yes, we can. Last time, Independence flew through the middle of the map, got right into that courtyard, and we found that first blood into that broken wall. You see St. Mary's, wow, they are tucked away. They're expecting this aggression to come through, and rightfully so. Alessio runs right to their death. As St. Mary's dealing with that first blood, now they can start working this map, Jesse.
Hey, it's what you were hoping for. You said you wanted to see them play a little bit patiently. I like the position that they're playing in too. They're not just kind of pinned back in their spawn. They've moved out towards the right-hand side of the mini map, and they've actually taken control of this middle building as well. So a little bit of what I wanted, a little bit of what you wanted, and funny enough, we see a first blood going in their way, but they're going to start to backtrack with this bomb now and try to take it in through middle of the map.
I like
Marcus,
that.
that's a huge one-on-one win.
The pre-fire, not able to find it, but the follow-up from Jitsu, keeping St. Mary's at that one-player advantage. You got both defenders now isolated on either side of the map, and you can overwhelm him, but that's a big win out of Robski. It drops the bomb, takes Seeker off the board, and now it forces both these players from St. Mary's to group up here. I need to see him play hand in hand because Robski can pick off Xander. That's a big misplay. 1v1, bomb's gonna go down. Jitsu looking for the exit. Borowski has his number. A 1v3, all isolated 1v1s.
I was literally about to say it, but you said it before me. Just 3 individual one-on-one gunfights that Robski wins out there to close out the round. I don't think he got all 4 in that round, but you just can't let that happen. You need to play together at least a little bit here, but look how separated Xander Clan is from his teammate in Jitsu, and Jitsu on the bomb now. It's so easy for Robski. As soon as Jitsu gets up there, and as soon as he hears the plant, he snaps instantly, looks at the site, watches the player get up, wins the one-on-one, wins the round for his team, and that's a 3-0 start now for Independence Community College.
3 in a row.
This is what I was worried about for St. Mary's. Even when they put themselves in good situations on this map, it's not an easy map to play.
Big one.
Gonzo will get a first blood again, though, so...
Oh, a Seeker finds his way through the middle, finds a second. Now, if St. Mary's put this one away, it is going to hurt their mental. Marks is looking to claw back. Finds the first one on their road, on their journey back into it. Gonzo getting aggressive at the A side, caught off. Evens is up, 2 versus 2. Again, look at these two players from ICC. Separated, but comfortable, Jesse.
And, I mean, why wouldn't they be? Big Head has a completely wide open A-bomb site if he wants to put the bomb down there. Player 7's just running around through courtyard right now. I think Jitsu may have caught a small sight of him.
Oh, Marxus. Hit the deck.
Oh my god, I was about to say no way.
Xander knows he has him dead to rights behind that, but able to escape. And now, with that bomb down, he can set himself up to watch this cross through. Jitsu's gonna force this gunfight. Marxus wins the one-on-one. They know where Xander is, so both of them just need to play their duties on either end of the map. Wait for Xander to pop his head out and take it off his shoulders. Here comes Xander. Big head for the initial shots and looking to finish it out, but on 42 HP, Xander's gonna be respecting this. Here comes Marxus on the opposite end. It's a big win there. 1v1, 14 seconds left. Can he clutch it out? Big Head is actually holding this tight angle. He's going to be ready for it. He's going to read it.
I did not think that Big Head was going to sit there and play that spot, but I thought he was honestly just going to run away with how much time was left on the clock. But he sits in, holds that right-hand angle, and there was nothing that Jitsu could do in that situation. It was over before it really started there. They just didn't have enough time left. And ICC from a 2v4 and then a 1v3, bring it back, now a 2v4 and bring it back-to-back rounds, where it just felt like St. Mary's was doing everything right on the map. They don't close the rounds out, and what could be a 2 versus 2 or a 2-2 game is now a 4-0 lead for ICC.
Those rounds sting, and if I'm St. Mary's, I'm definitely thinking about it constantly, even at the advantage, at how good Independents are at clutching out these rounds. Again, hunting for that first blood. Rob's going to take some heat, have to give up that deli. And one by one, slowly approaching this B bomb site is Seeker. But even still, I think St. Mary's, they want to find a kill here. Seeker has to be careful around the B site because the rest of his teammates are nowhere near him. If he walks out of the B site and dies, nobody on St. Mary's is going to be in a spot to pick that back up.
No, not at all. And we see them all the time, actually. Even last week, they try to push over towards that B site by themselves and just get caught off. It happened a lot, but Gonzo finds a first blood over towards A. But this might give them a little bit of false confidence in thinking that the bomb site is completely open, but Alessio is still here.
Oh, Alessio Seeker! That's something that I'm used to seeing, but haven't seen yet today. Seeker puts on the work as he rolls in and out of that small corridor and takes Alessio off the map. Jitsu with the slow play to Brown is able to watch the reinforcements of the site, cut them off on those rotations. And again, St. Mary's, well, for the first time, they get themselves on the board. They cut the momentum of Independence Community College. And most importantly, they start to get a little bit of confidence, understanding that they can bleed, Jesse.
He really did kind of work him there on that round. Absolutely things you love to see. The movement coming out on top. St. Mary's, they got a long hill to climb to come back into this one, but a Gonzo first blood, exactly what they need if they want to be able to bring this round back.
Oh, look for the second one, but Xander actually was the one to take that. Inside Deli, spots Alessio on the outside, 3v2. Alessio on the hunt, though. Oh, and this is perfect, the trigger discipline. Sneaking their way around. Alessio is right in enemy lines and confirming this kill. Oh, don't do it to him. Gonzo!
Oh, that's a misplay.
Alessio got a little bit too ahead of themselves for that.
I think ICC is getting a little too cocky right now, if I'm being completely honest with you. This game could honestly be a 4-2 lead the other way, and ICC is playing this like they are just working St. Mary's Community College at the moment. Or St. Mary's University. It's Independence Community College that they're growing up against. I'm all over the place right now, but you got to think, like, Alessio finds that kill there. It's a 2 versus 2 and a very easy winnable round there for Independence Community College. But nonetheless, St. Mary's, we said it, they have a lot of work to come back, but coming back from 4 rounds, we saw it happen in our last series in game number 5. It is not impossible, and this St. Mary's team is by no means out of this game.
No, they're not. I'm sure Independence Community College just got a little bit of an ego check off of that. Alessio looking for the finishing move, and Gonzo, again, turn and burn. Second time it happened to ICC in 2 rounds, so maybe you gotta kind of bring this out and understand that this is losable. Now, Seeker, once again, taking a little bit of space towards this courtyard, fishing for this first blood. Are they going to expect player for ICC to be inside that archway? Ooh, Gonzo almost falls. Xander with a good idea here. Gets back in. 1-for-1 trade. Seeker keeps him even.
Gonzo staying alive there is huge too. Him and Seeker now both on 4 in a row. You got to think if one of these two can find a way to get streaks here in this round, that could really be what could be a difference maker in this map. Looks like the bomb rotating over to A, and Robski is here. But a beautiful bait and switch onto the site as they find the opening to get the bomb down.
But he can't find the second one. Big Head for the trade. 13 seconds left. Time's against St. Mary's, and they know exactly where Seeker is. Big Head plays it perfectly, throwing shoulders around the wall. And
So
they bounce
tough.
right on back. 5-2 for ICC on map point. 1 round away from going up 2-0 in the series. Putting them 1 step closer to a playoff spot.
That's so tough. It just they kind of got bottlenecked by the amount of time that they had left in the round. They had to force the issue towards A. I thought they made a brilliant play with the bait and switch on the first one, but the bait and switch doesn't work out in their favor when one of them is super weak. They win the first gunfight, but the pinch from ICC from the back and just made it a lot easier for them to be able to close that round out. And now Independence Community College, like you said, 1 round away from closing this game out. I thought player number 5 was going to be able to push that bomb all the way through and get it down early on, but decides better of it. He's going to back up and just try to play his life, make a slow push with his team.
Seeker rightfully gives that up. This is too much pressure to throw your life away on that tractor. With Alessio staying on top of that. Xander, that's the bomb down. How is Independence going to react? Are they going to thrash their way onto the site? Are they going to play it slow? It looks like Alessio wants to run right down the middle of the map and pull the odds right back. Gonzo receives that shot, but again, Alessio is in the middle of nowhere, basically, and in the dangerous territory. Seeker's going to spot the 1, but walks right across the middle, knowing that that is the danger zone. Alessio's going to find a second now. ICC in a 3v1. Looking to put away this map. They know where Jitsu is. It's time to collapse. And 12 HP. Jitsu really hoping that he can walk away with this. This is going to be a tough one.
Alessio gets all 4 in the round.
6-2. ICC, they are here to win and they are not looking back. And even when they're an advantage, they look like they want to dominate tonight.
He closed that out with a stick. Did you see the second kill there? Into Delhi. He hit him with a stick, which got the full kill. Gets the third here, and then later on in the round, we see Alessio get the fourth, really turning it on in that round number 2, or in that game number 2. After a couple rounds earlier, going for assassination, maybe playing around a little bit too much. I think they realized that St. Mary's University was bringing the fight back to them, and ICC, they decided they needed to get a little bit more serious with it. They were able to close it out.
And now what does that mean for St. Mary's? It's reverse sweep time. It's a team that you've struggled with all year long. Well, all season long, because you've only been playing this ICC roster inside the NACE Starleague. But in week 5, you struggled hard against them. Backed into a corner. This is where you need to pull out everything, or else you're not going to make it to the playoffs, Jesse.
And it's something we were talking about quite a bit this season for St. Mary's. We said that if they want to make it, they had to go through one of the 2 juggernauts in this division, either ICC or it was going to be St. Edward's University. And it's got to be ICC that they go up against right now, and they need to find a way to pull this one back. We're going towards raid control. And
back to raid, and
that is a scary thought. It is just a scary thought to go back to raid. But then even if after raid, you got to look at the rest of the series. It's raid, Garrison, raid. There's no escaping it. I think if you're St. Mary's, the one kind of thing that you have here is at least you have Seeker on your team. You know he's a fantastic sub. He's been great in this series so far. But somebody else just needs to step up right now on the likes of St. Mary's University to go toe-to-toe with the submachine guns on the likes of ICC. Otherwise, you're not going to win this game.
I like that you're talking about Seeker, but I don't want to put that sub role really on him. I think first and foremost, Seeker needs to come into his own as the leader of this team before the submachine gun, because you need to inspire your team to show up against this ICC team. And I don't think Seeker has done that just yet. I think he's solely trying to put all the effort on him and not letting his team work around his calls here. Rob's going to run it down mid. Seeker ready for it. First blood to St. Mary's, and the trade is going to come through. But the B side is where they're going to go. They're going to stack it with 3. Marxist inside money. The stuns are going to give it away. Nade forces out Jitsu a little bit. Marxist looking to take him off this head glitch, but still, St. Mary's are getting a lot of progress at this site, and Independence, if they want to keep it, they're going to have to collapse on soon. Alessio's good for 2. Jitsu, the last one on the flanks coming through from Marxist. Is he going to be ready? It doesn't seem like it, but doesn't matter because Jitsu standing tall in this site. The take might not come through, but a lot of progression at B.
Well, here comes zone tag. Instantly from zone A, or from zone B over to zone A now is the rest of St. Mary's University. They've already got a tick of progress. They should easily get the second tick before the pinch comes in from the ICC players. They might even be able to find all 3 here, but the pinch, it does come through. ICC shuts it down, but instantly, here we go once again. St. Mary's University back on the horse, over towards the B side now, trying to get another tick of progress over here. But that's 4 down now. They've already done the hard job. They just need to find 2 more ticks to close this round out.
Oh, and ICC. Just look at the constant dominance they're showing in the kills. Yes, you lose out on 2 ticks on either side, but when the going gets tough, they clutch up on both ends, not giving up the round. Big Head's on 5. He's setting up camp inside that art room. If St. Mary's need anything, they need to just start flooding on into this B side and finish one of them. 42 seconds left. You need to make a decision.
And the decision is B. They're full focus going over towards this site right now. And 2 players will fall, but they win the 3rd gunfight out. Xander Clan goes so huge as he finds 2. And now they can put the focus over towards this A site now. And Gonzo, he finds 1, but the rest of this rotation over here, 11 to 11 in lives, a minute 33 to get 1 tick of progress for St. Mary's.
As the kill come through, Independence, they clean up house at the A site. You see the spawns are going to be unfolding for St. Mary's inside garage, so when they're escaping, you are going to have to take some pressure off that middle of the map. You can see Jitsu trying to be that player through pool side, but even still, ICC are just playing this so well. Not playing too pressured, not playing too aggressive, but just enough to keep St. Mary's away from this. 6 lives to 10.
Well,
St.
like
Mary's, this is going to be their last play, Jesse, at full strength. They're going to have to put this all right into it. Now Big Head finds Jitsu, and that should be enough to slow this down. They have to wait for Jitsu now to come off spawn.
And they can't wait for him to make the full wrap back either. Not with the amount of time left. Jitsu's going to have to hit this from the front while the rest of his team tries to hit this play in from the back. And they actually have a pretty good pinch developing right here, but they're only able to come away with one so far.
And Marks is off spawn, cleaning them up as they rotate. 2 lives left. ICC. They come out swinging here in round number 1 of this. Yes, it got close in lives, but it just felt like ICC always had the control in that round, and Celestial ended that off on a streak, so I'm not sure if they got the streaks at the end of it. I didn't see where they left off, but carrying that progression over, they can look to pick up those streaks into the next round.
It really did feel like they kind of just had full control of that round throughout the entire time. Even when zone tag was happening and St. Mary's was bouncing from zone to zone, it just felt like ICC was very comfortable. They knew that they were doing on the map what they needed to do, and they knew that even if one zone came through for St. Mary's, that ICC, they knew they had it completely in the bag, ready to go over towards the other side with a fantastic hold of their own. They're able to close it out, and I don't think Alessio found that final kill yet for the streaks. He'll be playing for that right off the rip here.
Attention to A. Marxus finds Jitsu. Alessio wins the battle through mid. That's going to be the artillery strike in their back pocket. A lot in the arsenal for ICC, and Big Head winning that inside laundry. He's going to hop up onto this A site, allows himself to get this A tick, this first tick of progression. And before St. Mary's can get anything going, they're losing the gunfights off screen, so they really need to come out big on site, and that's exactly what they do. They overwhelm Big Head. They clear the site now. You're looking at this zone tag that actually not come through. Independence, they want to make another swing at A, and they win their gunfights this time. Nice 3 down. They can stack this hill.
It's actually kind of a 5-head play from Independence Community College as well. They know where they're spawning. St. Mary's knows where they're spawning, and St. Mary's goes, hey, you know what? They're probably going to play zone tag. So they all run over to B, and Independence Community College says, nah, we're going to go right back to A, overwhelm the one player that was on that site because everybody else left. They finished the progress off. They have a 4-man life lead and 2 minutes on the clock now to try to break into B and finish this site off as well.
Jitsu and Tiki. The pressure's there. Can he swim? No, he can't. Alessio's going to pick that up. Stops the clock at air. No, he's going to play this very slowly. Wait for the teammates to come and rotate out. As ICC, they want another 4 down before they can make this happen. Alessio's going to overextend into the basketball courts. Look to get in behind his teams. I think Gonzo knows that. So he's going to be giving up this pressure to reinforce that backside. The kills come through. ICC trade. Jitsu now has to force himself into the mix. Big Head's going to win that 3. Go down. They can get this site now, Jesse.
And with Big Head's positioning, this should just keep St. Mary's pinned in the back. It's going to keep them spawning so far away. And how can you win on a map when Big Head is doing things like that to you? The rest of the team can just 3-stack inside the hill. Second tick of progress absolutely will come through. I believe the streaks were raining down there as well. They still only have 1 player inside the hill, so the progress is going up very slow. But it just does not matter. It's going to be so tough to break into this one. And it's not enough. They find 2 still, but Independence Community College, they close that out, and you got to think that is all on Big Head.
This lonesome play out here, winning that gunfight. This shroud to Jitsu cleans him up so swiftly, and then able to slip through the cracks, catch Xander looking the wrong way, opts in behind, spawn kills galore.
Kill cam.
At a Big Head, that's 5 kills in 1 kill cam. That is, like you said, that is ridiculous. But ICC, you woke the monster. You talked about it. St. Mary's, they had their chance now to go up against 2 juggernauts, and it just looks like this juggernaut is too much to handle.
It really does. But St. Mary's, they're going to give it their all here. Final round. If there's one thing I know about this team, they don't give up. They give their full 110%. Every single time they come out and play. And I mean, the amount of growth that we've seen from this team throughout the year so far in itself is something that they should be very, very proud of as the rest of the season continues on, as they look in towards this Vanguard season. But St. Mary's University, they've got one more shot at this. They got to try to win this offense out, but Independence Community College, man, they have already got the spawn trap fully in full effect.
Hey, Northwood was in the same spot.
Not
Down
like
0-2
this.
in the control.
Not like this.
Let's see this. Big Head wins the gunfight through there. Doubles down and behind. now can really kill these players off spawn. Seeker is going to be ready for it through the pool steps. His extension from St. Mary's. They get it behind. They clear off some of these players from spawn. That's 3 down, Jesse. If they can find Big Head, they can stack the site and really put it through. There it goes now. Time for St. Mary's to hop on and start collecting some time because time is ticking and it is going fast. Jinsu's playing contact with these players on rotation. Looking to catch them all before they can even reach there. Big Head's going to have a chance to dash into the site. Gonzo's watching it, and another 3 down. St. Mary's still alive and kicking.
They haven't even gotten 1 tick of progress, and yet finally the first comes through. They've gotten so much progression over towards the site, but just nobody on the site to like really get actual tick progression to come through. And they stop them before the second tick comes through as well. And now St. Mary's, they can hop onto this A site. This A site's going to be completely finished here, but the harder of the 2 sites to break is B. And you can see Independence Community College, they're just pushing through to try to get this full setup over there.
Well, the tick goes through. Add a minute to the clock. Look at the lives. That's going to be a big factor into this round. St. Mary's on 14, ICC with 12. And Seeker, that's a brilliant double kill now to just diminish the lives of ICC. You see the setup with the orange angles. You got 2 inside there. Alessio's going to sneak out of the Tiki. Finds Xander Clan. You see the kills coming through. Big Head gets a team nade on a Marxist now. One last player just outside of Tiki is player number 6, Alessio. Overextending through the pool steps. Catches Xander Clan out of that spawn. Jitsu's going to fall. And ICC, they can come right back into this now. Only a 2-life disadvantage.
And again, St. Mary's had so much map control there. They get on it, but they only 1-stack the hill. There's not enough people playing the hill for that tick of progress to go up quick enough. And now Independence Community College, they're able to stabilize a little bit out of their spawn. They don't have any streaks. They still down 2 life. So not only are they going to need to win this round, but they're going to need to find a couple more kills before this round is over to bring it back.
Well, this is the last comfortable push that St. Mary's is going to have as a team. 7 lives left in the arsenal. Make it 6. And they are walking through this crossfire with a heavy heart. It's hard to get there. No respawns remaining. Marx is going to find one through the middle of the map. Gonzo gets on this hill. Going to stop the clock, but can't win the gunfight against Rob. Now 3 lives remaining to clutch up against the 5. ICC now in the books to push themselves to the playoffs. Alessio's going to clean up 1. Seeker, the last alive. Independence College, 1 last player, and there it is, caught in 4K with the assassination. ICC are gonna move their way on to the playoffs, move to the conference finals for the play-in, and have a shot at that top seeding.
We can say whatever we want to say about this St. Mary's University team, but they've got a lot of heart. They play with a chip on their shoulder every time that they come out to play. Unfortunately, it was just not enough. Seeker, though, fantastic series out of him. He played great throughout the entire series. And he said it coming into this one. He knew that it was going to be a very tough match. We talked to him last week.
He did.
He said that it's kind of hard when you're going up against Independence Community College. They have so many top AM players on this team. He knew it was going to be tough. Seeker, he's taken a group of players who were not Call of Duty players really before this, who were kind of learning the game. He's taught them the game. They've learned so much throughout this entire season. And I truly do believe that St. Mary's University, they will have a great season throughout the Vanguard season. It just wasn't enough here in Cold War, but he's going to get them into check. He's going to continue to be the fantastic player he is. And we'll see the St. Mary's team back soon enough. I can feel it.
Well, there's a lot of time between now and then to get that under check. I can't wait to see that either. So that's going to be University of Tennessee, Knoxville, Minnesota State of Mankato, and Independence Community College today on your stream, moving on into their conference play-in finals. And they're going to actually make their way into the playoffs as well because of that format. The 2 top teams out of the division are going to make there. This next, coming up on Saturday, having that conference final, it's going to be deciding the seeding, Jesse, for this. And these 3 teams making it out, I couldn't be any happier because they played their hearts out today.
We could have some absolute bangers on Saturday as well. I'm very, very excited to see the top 2 teams from every division going toe-to-toe once again. I mean, Independence Community College, they now get their revenge against St. Edward's University, and I mean, that's going to be a tough matchup in itself. I mean, if you guys think this ICC team is good, wait till you guys see the SEU Hilltoppers, because that team is another level. But I am so excited to see that matchup. I hope we get that one on stream, especially with how the Pirates look today here for ICC. A couple other big ones that could possibly, or that are going to happen. Minnesota State University, Mankato, like you said, going up against Illinois State University, going to be another really good matchup. And then what was our top one? University of Tennessee Knoxville. They'll be going up against the UCF Knights in a rematch again. All of these teams have played each other once, and all of our teams that are coming in as the 2 seed or the 3 seed have already lost to that top team. So it's gonna be some really, really fun matches to watch on Saturday.
Once again, we are going to be having an interview here from Independence Community College, just waiting for everything to be set up. So be patient. We will get them in there just for you, Jesse. The day is done. We had a 3-0 at Game 5 and a 3-0 now. Talk to me about these, because I don't think that the numbers really tell the story when you're looking at the series score. I mean, yeah, we had 2 3-0s, but I mean, some of them, St. Mary's University versus ICC was very one-sided. But the first one we had between University of Tennessee Knoxville and University of North Carolina Wilmington, that wasn't as decided as it was now. I mean, Wilmington, they had a bad search and destroy, but I mean, in some situations, they looked like they had it. What was your favorite match of the day?
I mean, my favorite match of the day easily is match number 2, Minnesota State and Northwood University. I mean, we had 2 really, really good hard points in that, which honestly could have gone either way towards the end. It was just kind of 60 finally went the other way. And then how often do you get when you go into a game 5, not only game 5, round 11, which, I mean, let's be honest, we're casters. It's what we live for. But to get to that round 11, we needed a 4-round comeback from Minnesota State Mankato. And they brought it back and they won. You don't see storylines like that happen very often, especially when they lost the first time to Northwood University. So I was there for it. Great matchup. I mean, Northwood kind of dropped the ball, but they'll be kicking themselves later for that one. But Minnesota State University, definitely that matchup there has to go and be my matchup of the day so far.
They kind of did, but I mean, these teams that lost, now they can focus on Vanguard. Start getting these scrims out, start playing those tournaments, and iron things out for the rest of the season. You still have these teams fighting for Cold War, and yes, we are in a new cycle of Call of Duty, but we still have to get through this last little bit of Cold War before we can get to the promised lands in the next game. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of the team so far. Now, we have also other divisions to look over as well, Jesse, other than the ones that we had tonight. So talk to me a little bit about those other teams, because we might not know the outcomes of the matches just yet, but I mean, highlight a couple of them. What really stands out to you to the rest of the divisions? What are you looking at really to be some hot matchups going into the rest of the play-in season?
Well, I mean, another big one that was going on today would have been Stockton University and Old Dominion, both at 7-2. Winner of that obviously will go on to place Lebanon Valley College, who is another absolute tank of a team in this in the NACE Starleague. So that's up in the Eastern Division. That would be an interesting one to watch. We didn't get that one on stream. I'm not sure if we'll be able to find out that. And then we also know Ryerson University was taking on Utica College today. Winner of that to go on to face St. Clair, who is still yet to lose a map here in the NACE Starleague. St. Clair, a completely different looking team than any St. Clair that we've seen. Yet there's still 3 of the same players from last season's team on their team. It was just literally a 1-player upgrade, and that team has looked like a different beast this year. And then what is the final? There's one final division that we got to go and look at that we haven't hit yet today. I believe it's the Midwest Division. I'm not 100% on that. Let me scroll. No, we did hit that one. It's the Western Division. That's the one that we haven't hit yet. And the Western Division, the final matchup, it would have been Texas A&M International going up against Boise State University. So they pulled it out as well. Remember last week when we were looking at overall all the implications, we said Boise State had a chance to make it. Boise State makes, and they got to take on Texas A&M, and that's going to be a very tough one as well. And what a matchup that could end up being again if Texas A&M takes that match, and then we get to see Arizona State once again go up against Texas A&M International on Saturday night. That could be a really, really fun matchup to watch.
There's a couple things that really excite me for the coming playoffs for NACE Starleague, because we just had a Vanguard tournament last night actually, and St. Clair went all the way to the grand finals. I mean, we talk about a new team like it making some waves. Well, not a new team, but a new set of players making a wave for St. Clair. They made it all the way to the grand finals to play Ottawa Black. And Jesse, they took a map off Ottawa Black. So like this team,
It's funny. It's so funny that is like something to be excited about because Ottawa
Like,
Black is just that good.
they're just that good. But like they took a map off of them, and if that doesn't say if that doesn't say that this team is something crazy to look out for, I can't wait to see what they have in playoffs. But we are going to be moving on now out of this. It doesn't seem like we do have the interview coming through. So when we look at our schedule for the rest of the NACE Starleague, Monday we got Rocket League and Overwatch, Tuesday League of Legends, Wednesday's Call of Duty, and Friday is CSGO. You can find it here on your NACE Starleague streams, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you got to keep to the socials as well for CSL because we do have the playoffs coming up very shortly, and it's going to be catching us on a couple of weekends. Jesse, it's been a great day of play-ins, but we got to look to the conference finals now for the play-ins coming up on Saturday, so watch out for that, and I can't wait to see you all there, everyone. Have a great night.